Everyone up. Welcome back, Chicago Hockey Radio.
It's an everyone up day.
It's an everyone up day.
Is it really?
Yeah, you want to know why it's an everyone up day? I think you can probably guess why it's an everyone up day.
Yeah, Canada, what happened, man? Check the loss to them in the quarterfinals. Second year in a row that's happened. A nice fifth place finish for them in their home country, right in the nation's capital in Ottawa, Ontario. So that's pretty funny to watch. USA will be playing tomorrow in the semis against Czechia. Hopefully they can go back-to-back for gold. We'll get to more World Juniors talk later. But, yeah, Canada, what happened, man?
Absolutely. And the Hawks are hosting the Habs tonight.
Very fitting.
So we've got a lot to get into, a lot to talk about on today's show. Shall we do some housekeeping beforehand?
Yeah, everybody follow us on Instagram at Chicago Hockey Radio. We finally broke 500. Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah. Rah.
Yeah, let's go. 500 followers on
Big
Instagram. Keep it going. Giveaway next Monday, so be on the lookout for that.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Next
very
giveaway.
nice.
Next giveaway. Be on the lookout for that. Yeah, Discord. We're answering everybody's questions today. Probably do that at the end of the Hawks Hour. And yeah, other than that, I don't know what else. What else we got? Subscribe to this YouTube channel, please.
Yeah, TikTok, Twitter, X.
TikTok,
Sorry.
X, the everything app.
Yeah.
Yeah, and leave a 5-star rating and review if you're an audio listener right now on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please. We love the little comments on Apple Podcasts. They're very nice. They warm our hearts.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Makes me feel good about myself.
All right, that's my housekeeping. Oh, and we're gonna live stream a game next week.
Yes.
Either Wednesday or Saturday. I think Saturday probably against the Oilers. So a week from tomorrow, we will all be in these very chairs watching the Hawks play Connor McDavid and co.
Yeah,
So
the Connor matchup.
What
I
can
like
go
it.
wrong?
what
Yeah,
could
no.
go wrong? No, that should be a fun one to do. Honestly.
We also always play well against the Oilers.
Hawks
I feel like.
Oilers, those games are always so entertaining, too. So fun. Always love to see Bedsy versus McDavid.
Yeah. Bedsy scores in those.
Oh, yeah, he always steps up against Davo. Also, I just got to say, that rant of yours that we posted the clip of after the Winter Classic was absolute cinema. That was absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, props to you there, Lee, not to gas you up.
No, thank you. I was just at work,
Not
just
to gas you up.
just fuming. I was just fuming at work, just thinking about how we got pumped, and I couldn't imagine being there. And yeah, I just like. We've seen so much stuff on social media the past few days, the fallout since then. And, you know, I think the sentiment from the fans is starting to shift, kind of how, I don't know, I feel like we've been pretty vocal about a lot of these problems for a while, but now I think even the most casual of Blackhawks fan is starting to see some of these issues that we've been discussing on the show. So I think it's a good thing overall. I think hopefully it'll move the needle and make being a Blackhawks fan a little better, hopefully by next year. And it's not just about the roster. It's about all the stuff around the team and the business and the management and all those sorts of things. So, yeah, I think that the fact that the rant is getting a little bit of traction is because a lot of people feel this way. So,
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Should we get into the draft? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. James
Prospect
Higgins, yeah.
talk.
No,
Let's
all
do-
right. No. Hawks play tonight. It's a game day. Montreal Canadiens are in town. Original 6 matchup. Two teams kind of struggling. I mean,
Yeah.
Habs have played a little better, though, lately. Aren't they on a bit of a win streak right now?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been playing better lately. You know, we can do a little Habs talk here, but and then the Hawks will play on Sunday too against the New York Rangers.
Another
so-
original 6. Yeah, they're just crossing them off the list.
Yeah, another original 6, another really struggling team coming into town here. So,
honestly.
you guys want to get into tonight first? Colton Dach, NHL
Yeah,
debut.
we got Colton Dach versus Kirby Dach, the Dach brothers matchup. They probably thought they'd be playing on the same squad in the NHL, but no, they're going to be rivals. So looking forward to that. I'm glad Colton Dach was called up. He's been playing really well in Rockford. Was probably the most deserving of a call up. Keep them coming. You know, I'd like to see guys like Slaggert up here too, but I like to see the young guns called up. Didn't love that we sent down Krasinski, but whatever. Hopefully we'll see him up here, again soon. But no, Colton Dach's a dog, good physical grip player too. And he's got good chemistry with Frank Nazar. They're going to be playing on a line together. So hopefully they'll get Frank the Tank going here too. We can keep him up here. I want to have to send him down. So hopefully that'll help his production as well. I do like that line. Dach, Nazar, Tavo. I think that could be a good line. That's the positive. I'm a big fan of that. But the negative, though, is like, okay, you're calling up a young player who gets scratched. Lucas Reichel.
Why?
I was at the Winter Classic, so was Tassos, and like I can attest to this. He was one of the few players on the team who had showed any signs of life in that game, any energy. He's got good speed. He's always looks good out there. And it's like when he doesn't produce, I don't know if you can fully blame him for it when you're playing 8 minutes a night with Patrick Maroon stuck in the neutral zone while he's bringing the puck in. So I don't know. I don't really understand that. I think he's been playing fine. I don't think he warranted a scratch. Kind of reminds me of the Kako situation in New York. Like I don't think he's been the worst player. I don't think he's the guy most deserving of a scratch. I would have scratched Maroon over him, but it is what it is. I get Kurashev. He's been terrible. I'm not gonna complain about that one, but Reichel makes no sense to me.
I don't get it either. Scratch Maroon, put Donato on the wing on the fourth line with Reichel. That's a good player to have play with Reichel anyway. It's questionable, I think. And yeah, as you said about the Colton Dach thing, I'm really pumped for it because as every time a guy gets called up, we talk about how this is a real Blackhawk player. Hopefully. That we get to watch. So it's just like another guy out on the ice tonight that we're going to see and actually be rooting for and, want to see succeed. If that line could do work, that would be awesome.
It would be pretty funny too if he wound up having a better career than Kirby. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the Kirby Dach season. He has not been having a good year in Montreal at all. Kind of a rough go of it since his injury, which that kind of sums up Kirby Dach, right? Feels like every time he starts to show signs of life, he gets hurt or something and then comes back. It takes a while to kind of get in the groove again. So he's still he can still figure it out there in Montreal. But I wouldn't say it's been the greatest fit at the moment. But we'll see. I'm sure he has a lot of motivation coming into this matchup. The last time he was at the UC, he had that shootout winner and then gave it to the crowd. The old Matthews Kane, hand to the ear, can't hear you celebration. So hopefully there's nothing more in store with that tonight. Hopefully Colton Dach could show him up in his debut, but I'm sure they'll both be very motivated going against each other. So that should be a lot of fun to watch. Yeah.
What do you think Tassos Colton going to score tonight?
That would be really cool if he did put one in the net.
That'd be sweet. Like Frank Days, our first shot. Yeah.
And he's a physical player. Yeah. He's kind of a grinder a little bit. Like this guy is not shy to use his body to create space for himself and his line mates and, being in front of the net, taking it to the net, like all things that we need from this Hawks team to see them put more goals in the net. You're not going to get the easy, pretty goals all the time. You don't really have the lineup to be able to skill it up, right? So, I think Colton Dach's just going to come in here and work his bag off, honestly. And, I'm excited for this debut, actually.
And he's a dog, too. And he's a 2021 draft pick, 21 years old. His birthday's actually tomorrow. He's going to be 22. So he's definitely ready. He's 2 years in the NHL. He's had time. So I think he's been ready for the NHL. So I think this is a long time coming. And hopefully he's here to stay. Hopefully it's not just a reward. Hopefully he plays so well to where we see him the rest of the season. That would be sick.
I feel like he plays with more edge than his brother, which is obviously very important.
Because he's not as skilled, so he kind of has to play that way, right? But I feel like Kirby Dach, sometimes he plays scared. Colton Dach does not play scared. Mm-hmm. For sure.
He can't tonight. Yeah. Connor Murphy also out with a groin injury.
Oh, is that right?
So Wyatt Kaiser
draws back in.
With Seth?
Yes. Yeah. He'll be playing with Seth. So
we'll see about that.
Yeah.
I think last time they were paired together, I don't know how well that went.
Charlie Romeliotis tweeted that an hour ago, and the top reply is, Seth Jones sucks 100%. It's just going off.
Bro, he was terrible in the Winter Classic, man. It's like, I mean, I know you like to defend him a lot, but even Seth Jones defenders, the way he's been playing since he's got back from injury, you can't really defend him. So hopefully, new year, hopefully new Seth Jones, right? We'll see, the way he was in October, hopefully November before he got hurt, because he was playing good hockey before his injury. So was Mrazek, but neither have looked like the same since they've been back. Is Soderblom in net tonight? I imagine he is.
Yes.
Yeah. Which he should have been at the Winter Classic, but again, we can go back there down that road. I think Joey Anderson was sent down. I think to make room for that was he's Mackenzie at Whistle 2.0. He's a nothing player, so Colton Dach's definitely much more worthy of a roster spot.
Yeah, surprised it took this long to send Joey Anderson down.
I am surprised, because he was placed on waivers almost a month ago, so they probably had to send him down. It was probably coming close to that 30-day deadline or whatever. But I am surprised. I mean, he could help out Rockford though. Probably could use a veteran player like that down there, especially since they've been calling up a lot of young guys, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I just it kind of. The whole Reichel thing just doesn't sit right with me because it feels like every single time we make a roster move that I like, we make one or two roster moves that I don't like.
1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah. Vlasic Crevier still. and then Allen and Brody.
How is Crevier still in the lab too? I guess with the Murphy injury, but like the way he played, I don't think he warrants a spot in this lineup right now.
I mean, just those three pairings are atrocious.
Seriously. Well, what's like one good, one bad with each, right? Yeah. You got Allen, Brody, Vlasic, Crevier. Well, the way Jones been playing, that's more like too
Jones
bad.
and Kaiser.
That's our first pair. Like, holy. Yeah, so I think the Habs aren't going to have a hard time scoring goals tonight. Hopefully we can outscore our problems. I don't know. I'm a little... I don't know if I believe in that. 5 straight losses, though, for the Hawks. Like, you have to think eventually something's going to give. New year, new Blackhawks. Hopefully we can, stay 2025 undefeated here. We haven't lost a game yet this year.
It doesn't feel amazing that we're rolling into 2025 and we're talking about, hopefully this roster can outscore our problems.
I mean, Sorensen's like, we've been scoring. The goal scoring has gone up under Sorensen, but my goodness, the goals against him also gone up and by like a lot more. And we've been blowing out the last 3 games. So hopefully we don't make it 4 in a row here, right?
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg right now. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah, no, there's not much to gas up here. How about Bertuzzi and Mikheyev with Bedard? I get Bertuzzi up there. I know they've had chemistry. And Mikheyev, I would have minded like a more skilled player up there with them. I get it. He's good on the forecheck. He's fast. Maybe get them the puck. But I don't know. I think Bertuzzi and Mikheyev kind of do similar things. I'd rather have somebody, I don't know, like Tavo up there. But, and Reichel. Yeah, what about Reichel up there? I don't know. That's just my, thoughts.
Can I just, this lineup looks horrible, on paper. These guys haven't all played together very much. The blue line looks shaky, just looking at it, right?
Yeah, it's not fun to look at.
Dude, I don't know how we're... And what's crazy is how I guess Montreal has won 3 in a row, but really how bad they've been this season is this game on the sports book is like a pick'em. And it's like this.
Really?
Is Vegas looking at this? Is the Vegas looking at this lineup?
Yeah, I don't understand that at all. I think the Habs. I mean, they're an ass team, but at least they've been picking it up, right?
Pieces too.
Yeah, they got guys like Patrick Laine. Since he's been inserted into the lineup, they definitely looked better, and they're definitely further along this rebuild than we are.
Yeah,
I think their roster is considerably better. I mean, guys like Caulfield, Suzuki, can put the puck in that at Slavkovsky. So they have more depth, like you said, to have more pieces. Where outside of Bedsy, it's like you shut down this team, you shut down the Hawks,
Yeah. But, I mean, shit, good luck.
Yes. So, Habs talk. Let's stick with the Habs here for a second.
Okay.
I like Nick Suzuki a lot as a player.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I think he's... in the vein of a Montreal Canadiens, I think of him as a Saku Koivu almost type of guy, where you're not hey, this is a dominant first line center.
Okay, yeah,
type
he's
of
a good
player.
two-way player.
But
he's a nice guy to have.
He's a nice guy to have, and
consistent.
Yeah, he's modeled his game after Patrice Bergeron. You can tell that a lot. I like him a lot too. That's a piece if you're the Habs. Caulfield obviously is probably one of the more electric scorers on the team, definitely probably in the conference even too. Lane Hudson, we've done some Lane.
Yeah. I mean, he does. Every game, it's like he's doing 50 head fakes to the blue line. He makes plays. You'll see these highlights, and he racks up assists. But then he'll do something that was what on earth were you thinking? Kind of like Evan Bouchard in that light. But no, he's super talented. A lot of fun to watch. And Cole Hudson, by the way, World Juniors is very much like him in the same light. So it's been fun to watch as well.
Yeah. I just with the original 6 teams, there's almost not to be harsh, but it's an embarrassment to hockey when Montreal is pathetic, you know, and they are borderline pathetic. I know the Hawks are not borderline; they just are. They are.
The Blackhawks are the laughing stock in the league.
Yeah,
we are the most poverty team in the league.
But hockey is better when the original 6 teams are good. Montreal is probably the most passionate, diehard fan base that. Craves it and, analyzes these players. And, here's the thing, we're in a market where there are educated hockey fans, especially the ones listening to our show, but not everybody's a super educated fan here. You know what I mean? The average hockey fan, I would say we're probably a bit more knowledgeable than the average Chicago hockey fan. Average Chicago hockey fan. All of our listeners are above average fans. But, Montreal, man, the pressure there is legit. It's same as Toronto. Everybody knows what they're talking about, when they're talking about the team and the players and
It's
the
their
pieces.
life.
And,
It's the mecca. Hockey's the religion there. I mean, it's their sport, it's their game. So yeah.
yeah. But I want the Habs to be good. You know, I want the Rangers to be good, kind of. You know, I want the Red Wings to be good. Like, hockey's better when the Red Wings are good. You know, obviously we want the Blackhawks to be good. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know if, like, the Habs are quite there yet. Like, do you believe in the rebuild for Montreal or no?
Honestly, I do. Like, I mean, yeah, right now it's not great, but like they got such a fine prospect. Well, I mean, look at what Ivan Demidov. Look at what Ivan Demidov is doing in the KHL, and it just makes me. It's like it's bittersweet. I see that. I'm like, wow, would have been nice to have him, but you know, we have Roman cancer up, so whatever. But no, I believe in the rebuild. I think they got pieces. I think they're doing the right things. So I think it's on the right track here. But it has been going on for a while. They have been stuck kind of in no man's land for a ways, but it's been a long tank process there. But I do think they're going to come out of this, and yeah, I think they're going to be fine. Yeah.
The Marty St. Louis hot seat talk seemed to have subsided for a little bit too.
That's what happens when we start playing better hockey, right? And they have been playing better hockey. I mean, I remember like we were talking about on the show how much of a dumpster fire they were a few weeks ago, but all of a sudden now it's like, you know, they're playing respectable. So, I mean, what they have, like a 4-game win streak right now or something like that? It's something like that. So
I'll get a.
That fourth line is crazy.
yeah.
Who?
Montreal's.
What is it?
Heineman, Jake Evans, and Joel Armia.
Dude, Jake Evans has been playing really good hockey. Isn't he from Chicago too? Isn't he an Illinois native?
That sounds right.
He went to Notre Dame. I know that, but
Lane Hudson, they're from like Barrington or something. The Hudson brothers.
Yeah.
oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Three wins in a row for the Habs. I was close. Yeah.
It's like two
Oh no,
towns
Jake
over
Evans
from
is
Bartlett.
Canadian.
Oh, my bad. You're probably thinking of Hudson.
Yeah.
The 51st state.
They're
Dude.
going to be the 51st state after that World Juniors performance.
Oh my gosh. All right.
They
We
co-
do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling.
Okay, so all that being said about the Habs, like, how do the Hawks jump on them tonight?
I mean, with the way this team's been playing lately, it's hard to have any expectations at the Hawks. You would hope they'd have a fire lit under their ass after that Winter Classic performance. A lot of players talked about, you know, how pissed off they were, how devastated. But it's like, dude, it's like morale couldn't be any lower in the squad right now. That's the thing. It's like, so you got to find a way to snap out of it. But I don't really have the answer to that. I'm not really sure how you go about that. You just got to treat this, you know, new season, new slate. I mean, new year. I mean, so I just treat it like a blank slate and, you know, try to, you know, kind of respond here, reset, get something going. Hopefully Dach can provide some energy. I think that's probably a big part of why he's called up, right? Something different. You got to do something after that game, a message. I do think that line could be good. I mean, it's like if there's one thing in this lineup that like intrigues me, it is that line of Dach, Nazar, Teravainen. I think if we win this game tonight, it's going to go through that line and Bedsy, of course, but because nothing else really, you know, screams W, although Sodom's in net. So that helps, I guess.
I mean, this is the perfect spot for the Blackhawks to get a win, right? I mean, after that Winter Classic game, these guys, it's been a couple days now. There, as you said, there's going to be a fire under them. They should be playing pissed off and hungry. But the thing is and you're at home against another really a bad team in the NHL, one of the worst teams in the NHL. Like we should be looking at this game and thinking the Blackhawks have a very good chance. But when I look at this lineup, it doesn't, like, these deep pairings. Like if I were to be betting on this game, I'd be betting on Montreal. Like, coming off of a few game win streak, like this, it just looks sus. I don't know. It feels like it feels like back to the Richardson era of like jumbling lines together.
It does feel like the same thing, right? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Also, yeah, Donato on the fourth line, the way he's been playing, I don't really understand that. Like, unless you had Reichel in there and they had them paired together, that would make sense. But, you know, Donato flanked by Maroon and Smith. Oh, sure, okay. But yeah, it does feel similar. We're going back to the Richardson mindset, like you said, putting the lines in a blender, hoping something sticks. But I think eventually, you know, you run out of things to try. You run out of combinations to put out there. Eventually, you've tried everything and just realize, oh, this roster kind of sucks. So you just kind of got to work with what you got here, right? Yeah.
Habs. Sorry. I just wanted to clarify. Habs have won 3 in a row, and they are 7-3 in their last 10.
That's what I said. They have been playing better, right? You know, so it's been a decent, you know, last month or so for them. So I think it's a better team than. I mean, yes, they're bad, but it's definitely. I mean, everybody's better than us. I was gonna say they're a better team than us, but like at the moment, quite literally everybody is better than us. So it's kind of you kept again these talks of all this that stuff. Yeah.
My thing I will say about the Habs, though, I'm not a believer in Sam Montembeault. I don't know how he's a Team Canada guy. Like,
that just shows you how Team Canada's goalie situation is right now.
But there are better guys than Sam Montembeault. Like, Montembeault is not good. No.
No, I think
Is
you're
that
right.
not a hot take? No,
No.
I mean, I guess it's not a hot take.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. Yeah.
He's bad. He's bad.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
I'm
he's
not
bad.
going to fight
He has
for
his
him.
moments, but like he's inconsistent. He's not that guy, pal. Yeah,
No.
it's just he's not a starter. He's like a fringe starter backup. Which that's the thing about Montreal. They do need to find. Well, they got Jacob Fowler in the system. They seem to think really highly of him. Hopefully, he's that guy for them because at the moment, goaltending has been a bit of an issue for them the last few years. But so is everything else. Yeah.
They started a kid against the Florida Panthers, Jakob Dobish, and he got a shutout against.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't really hear much about him before that game. I'm not sure if he has, if he could be a player for them, but it could be.
He was like in Ohio. He went to Ohio State or something. Some Czech kid went to Ohio State.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was happy to see Ohio State lose.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we all were.
Or no, they won their game, didn't they? No, they lost. Yeah, they beat Oregon. Yeah, they beat Oregon.
did. Yeah.
Destroyed Oregon.
Yeah, there's been so much hockey going on. I've hardly paid attention to the college football stuff, to be honest.
Which is fair, but
They ran through Oregon. They're going to win the national championship
You think so?
easily. Texas is not good.
every lower seed has gotten out so far.
Who did Notre Dame beat?
They beat Georgia yesterday.
Oh, they beat Georgia.
Yeah.
That's who they beat.
And then Arizona lost to Texas, Arizona State, I believe.
And that was close.
That was the best.
They
game.
were, fucking Texas was like 13.5-point favorites. Arizona State should have won that game in overtime. Their defense kind of folded a little bit. That Scatabo kid on ASU is fucking nails.
That was wild.
He had like one of the craziest stat lines. He had like 50 yards passing, 50 yards receiving, and like 150 yards rushing. Like, holy shit, this guy's doing everything.
And that was college football brought to you by
Yeah,
CHR.
you know what's Blackhawks team is poverty when we want to discuss college football. We want to distract ourselves from this team. I know we want to pretend this. Also, I know we want to segue. I know this. We want to pretend this Winter Classic game didn't happen because it was so poverty. But I do feel like we got to do some more cleanup from that game. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
The numbers are out.
the numbers are out, and
you
it
guys wanna
is
guess?
the lowest viewed Winter Classic of all time. I believe 920,000, under a million, if I'm not mistaken.
Under a million
Which
for the
everybody's
first
going to
time.
blame the Hawks for that. Maybe that's a part of it. The matchup. The Blues aren't exactly a fire team either. But I think the real problem is one game on New Year's Day and 12 other games on New Year's Eve. Like, what was the NHL thinking there? I don't understand that at all. I think that was probably a big issue there.
There was so much going on, and it was on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve is, I said it on one of the last shows, New Year's Eve is not a holiday that you're going to get like a lot of TV ratings because people are going out and doing shit. They're not staying in their houses. Like, it's not, New Year's Eve isn't really a holiday you spend with like family as much as it is you like drink with friends.
Yeah, not to go back to college football. Well, I know they took it off of New Year's Day, because they didn't want to compete with college football for viewership. Yeah, that totally worked out, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's a matchup. The whole reason that brought the Blackhawks back was to get more viewership because nobody really cared about the Kraken Vegas game last year. So you bring in that marquee team. Original 6 team. Yeah, we're dead last, but still, it's the Blackhawks Blues. That's a rivalry. Like that's a matchup at Wrigley Field that should get viewership. But I think just the time, the day, just was bad decision making there, and having a bunch of other NHL games on made no sense. And then one game on the first, I don't get that at all.
Yeah, I think the 12-game slate was a crazy thing to do.
No,
like,
ridiculous.
that just makes no sense. Unless they just, like, really don't care about ratings for the Winter Classic. But it's like, I don't know, you do all this work, they tried to bring, like, the entire NHL media world to this thing.
Yeah, and then the World Juniors, they're always off in the first and playing 30. Not that the World Juniors probably taking viewership away from the Winter Classic, but still, that's going on the 31st. That's not in the first. Like, the point is, there's a lot of hockey that isn't being played on the first, and like the Winter Classic should be that game, like it always has been. But for whatever reason, this year they wanted to change it. That totally worked out, right? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some learning stuff, and hopefully they don't take it out on the Blackhawks, which they might, but they might be like, yeah, maybe the Blackhawks market isn't what we thought it was. But
no, I don't think it's. I mean, that's a part of the equation. I think just the team being where it is, but I think it's less that and more the NHL. Yeah, scheduling.
Yeah, it's not a Hawks thing.
No,
it's an NHL.
But that would
timing
totally
thing.
be the NHL thing to do.
Excuse.
Is
That'd be
just
their
cope
excuse.
and be like, oh,
Yeah.
well, the Blackhawks aren't a competitive team, so not our fault. It's like, no, you guys make horrible decisions. We're all on board to make the Winter Classic on Christmas now, right? That's the CHR.
The
That's
more
the
I think
CHR
about, the more I
prerogative.
like that idea from Lee. So, yeah, I think especially after this, I mean, you probably got to change something, right?
Yeah, maybe we need to make a T-shirt about Winter Classic on Christmas.
Winter Classic. Oh, that's a good shirt idea.
Yeah.
Put the Winter Classic on Christmas or something like that.
Yeah, that's a CHR exclusive.
Another Winter Classic thing. I don't know how much. I'm sure you guys listen to Spit Chicklets. There's a rumor allegedly that KD just laid it to the Hawks after that game, which I hope he did. I mean, the way that team performed, I think they deserve that. I'm not sure. Again, that's just hearing it from another source thing, and I'm not sure if it actually happened. But I don't know if what your guys' thoughts on that was.
Well, my thought was that if Ryan Whitney said it, that somebody on the Hawks probably
texted him a
it was
play.
probably Taylor Hall.
Yeah. Because Taylor Hall appeared on Spit Chicklets yesterday, which I know Lee found that very entertaining. I think we all did.
awesome.
Oh, shoot, my bad.
Yeah.
Bumping into the mic like it's my first time podcasting.
Taylor Hall is such a. I didn't realize how funny of a guy he is. When this guy is just chilled and relaxed, he is a funny dude.
Can I just say though that it's so different from Kyle Davidson going to speak to the locker room is so different than a Kevin Adams going to speak to the Buffalo Sabres. It's this Blackhawks team isn't good, and it was almost designed to not be good. And if it was supposed to be good, it's on Kyle Davidson. So it's he's going in to yell at guys over his mistakes.
He brought these guys in. If anything, Kyle Davidson should be yelling at the mirror because he's the man who designed this roster.
Hey guys, this roster fucking sucks. This roster needs to be better. And they're all dude, you made the roster.
He's I'm just Joey Anderson.
Yeah. It's like painting a picture and then yelling at somebody else over how bad the painting is. It's dude, what?
It's like that SpongeBob meme where SpongeBob's looking for the suspect. It's a picture of him. He is the suspect. Yeah. That's Kyle Davidson yelling at the Hawks after the game.
That's so corny though. I think it's ridiculous.
And I saw some people extra praising him for that. It's that should be your fucking job. Of course it should be. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's hard, right? It was the same reason that I didn't love some of the Bedard body language sometimes, because it's not that's gonna make yelling at the players after the game. It's not gonna make Louis Crevier a better hockey player. It's not gonna turn back the clock and make TJ Brody Calgary Flames TJ Brody, right? When he's playing with Mark Giordano and stuff.
Yeah, I'm completely done thinking that this is a team that's capable of anything.
There's nothing to salvage here. Yeah.
And I think everybody should feel that way because it's this team is bad. Stop trying to expect more. You need to put up a better performance in the Winter Classic. It's no, look at this roster. It's so bad. Why are we acting like it's anything other than that?
Because we have another 43 post games to
That's
do.
the thing, man. It's we still have half the season
More
left,
than
dude.
half the season.
Can we stop the count now? Can we just
stop the count?
Let's go to the playoffs already, dude. Yeah. I mean, obviously not we. I mean, at the league.
I wish we could just sim to the draft. The World Juniors yesterday, Oliver Moore assisted a James Higgins goal. I was just watching that thinking, I hope we could get used to that. I hope that's a sign of things to come.
Yeah, Jesus, dude.
Yeah.
That Chicklets interview though with Halsey was
it was really good.
It was awesome, and it was cool because I don't know. I feel like it's rare now. It's always been rare
for players to be honest.
For players to be honest and talk about situations, and I think there's a lot to break down from that interview, honestly. But just one of the things right off the rip was him just talking about the healthy scratch with Richardson. He was I didn't agree with that. It came out of left field, no communication. He doubled down on that. And just to hear that in a video, it was kind of crazy.
It's nice because we had an entire show talking about how puzzling of a decision that was in Europe for the man itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he said he's felt like he's played a lot better under Sorensen, and since Sorensen has come in, that the team, so that was obviously the sentiment in the locker room was that they did not like the way they were kind of being made to play under Richardson. I think that's pretty clear just from that interview that he's enjoyed the hockey they've played more under Sorensen in this brief time than they were under Luke Richardson. And then also some other stuff that he talked about was he actually did have faith in how Kyle Davidson and the Blackhawks have been kind of rebuilding this team. He talked about how they've been building it from the back end and how that's so important, and kind of talking about some of the defensive picks. And it is true. We should, with all the defensemen that we've drafted, we should be set.
It's all offense.
We should be set. Yeah. Obviously, there's a chance that Levshinov and Korchinski both don't pan out, and you still need a couple of spots. But I mean, what you've got Vlasic. That is 1 out of 6. That is for sure set in stone. Gonna be a legit defenseman. and then you've got all these. You've got more than 5 guys to fill up the other 5 spots.
Taylor Hall did say that in the interview too.
Yeah.
Just how good Alex Vlasic was.
Yeah.
He's like people don't get it.
He was like, oh, you guys don't. Yeah. He's like, this guy's insane.
There's a pretty cool post of him and Vlasic. They collabed on Instagram. They had like a little like body armor ad thing going. It was like they're on the train. It looked like an album cover. It was pretty cool. But yeah, Taylor Hall too. Like, he talks a lot about like the way he speaks to the Hawks and all that. Like he definitely sounds like a guy who would like to. I think he said it too. Who would like to stick around with this rebuild.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he will, but I mean honestly, you know what? In the way he spoke to after the Winter Classic game, like that's a leader, man. Like that's a guy I wouldn't. I know we said in the show a lot. Oh, if you could get a pick for him, whatever.
Yeah.
But like at this point, it's like what's another second or third going to do when we have so much draft capital? He's a guy I wouldn't mind, keeping.
I think I agree with you.
I think especially after that interview, you see maybe you can't get too like it's a business. I get it, but like you see the personal human side of these players. It's like that's a guy I want around this team.
Well, honestly, before that, I had no clue that was kind of his stance on it. Like
I would know that.
I would have thought that he was, kind of not like. I mean, can you like this team sucks? Like that's what I thought he would be like. Yeah, let me get out of here.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought the interview was going to be because Whitney kind of set him up for it a little bit in the interview. He set him up for it when he was like, "Oh, what team in the NHL are you looking at? Like, what other teams in the NHL?" And he just said Florida. You know what I mean? Which is like kind of a cop out answer since they won the Stanley Cup. Like, no shit, they're good. I swore on the show. Whoa, that was the first enemy.
Oh no!
First enemy. Whoops.
Yeah, no, it's being leader.
You're becoming the bad boy of CHR.
Yeah, that's the Lee Grossman influence. Yeah,
Yeah.
the Hawks influence.
Hanging out with you guys too much. But I thought he was gonna, and maybe it was a little bit like maybe we see Taylor Hall on the Florida Panthers at the trade deadline.
Unless you could get like I don't know, like I don't think you're not going to get a first for 2025 Taylor Hall, so maybe a high second, but otherwise like I'm cool with just keeping him around.
Yeah, he was talking about his role on the team and how he's like really enjoying it at this point in his career and how he kind of just wants to play for as long as he can. And then fucking Biz was like, yeah, like Patty Maroon just crawling around out there. And he was like, he like put his hand on his face. He's like, no, he's not that bad. And it's like, oh, Patty Maroon just crawling around on the ice.
Yeah, the Unk does not still got it.
But yeah, I think it seemed from that interview, it's like this guy wants to stay here. So I mean, we'll see. I'm not against it. If we're not going to get anything higher than like, if we were only going to get like a 3rd round pick for him, like, yeah, no, I'd rather see him stay then at that point. Because you want guys that want to be here. And I don't think, if I had to take a guess, I wouldn't think that the entire locker room wants to be here.
No, there's a lot of guys on this team who don't play like they do. So
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
The last thing I will say from the Chicklets interview that I thought was interesting, just that like I'm always interested to know who players hang out with, right? And I guess like a lot of the vets on the Hawks are hanging out together. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, I go out to dinner with Seth Jones and Jason Dickinson and Nick Foligno and him are really tight, I think. And Pat Maroon goes out with them sometimes. He said so. I always find it interesting to know who hangs out together on the Hawks.
Lucas Reichel seems to be an honorary part of Pat Maroon's family at this point. They're always hanging out. I know they hang out at Christmas together, so that's pretty cool to see the way he shepherded him along. So I'll give Maroon some credit there. I know we were just slandering him, so I got to give him the bone there.
Yeah, no, Maroon is so like. Maroon still makes plays. He's just so slow. Like, it's just like
locker room stuff, the off ice presence, and occasionally he'll make a play. But man, he's so hard to watch out there, dude. Like he's stuck in opposite zone while we're over here. It's like he's just so slow.
Yeah, no, we're not being critical. Like Pat Maroon is an awesome guy and an awesome guy to have on your team and in the locker room. Yeah. But it's father time is a real thing. Like there's I'm not saying anything bad about Patrick Maroon.
This is a weird comparison that I want to ask. What is Patrick Maroon the Udonis Haslem of the NHL?
Yes. Yeah.
Basically at this point.
Basically.
Perfect.
Yeah. Just Unk.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Is there anybody else like that? I don't know.
Like Vince Carter. No, Vince Carter was like more.
I got one more.
He was
Vince Carter was better than.
Yeah, Vince Carter was like a superstar.
That's gonna be Jonathan Taze soon. I got one more in me. Do we want to? I mean, maybe we could save this for the NHL hour because he's not.
The Taze talk.
Yeah. Do we say that for the NHL hour?
Yeah. Because I have some more stuff on the Hawks this week. Did we get? So I know you didn't do the clips, but I actually did send Raven Colton Dach clips. I just figured it'd be nice to hear from the kid before his NHL debut.
Yeah.
I think I've been playing really good. I like my game. just trying to be that energy guy, power forward, and play my role.
Over the break, were you with Kirby at all, or did you have any opportunity to, talk about what might be on the horizon?
I went home. He stayed in Montreal, so we didn't get to see each other. But I saw him last night. Had some dinner together and had a good chat. And just I think both of us, our families, just super excited for this opportunity.
Family coming in?
Yeah, my dad's coming. My mom and sister are over in Europe right now for my sister's hockey, so it's tough that they can't be here, but I know they'll be watching.
Where do you feel like you've grown the most down in Rockford this year?
I think just the consistency level. I think that's something that I've been trying to strive in my game for the last few years, and I think kind of found that the mentality that I need to have every single night to play consistent and play heavy, and that's just what I got to do to get up here, and just got to maintain it.
Nice to play on a line with.
I'll break it up into two so we can talk about the first part.
Yeah.
I like that he said, I want to come in and be a power forward.
Yep.
That's exactly what
Absolutely.
Hawks need,
I thought he had
dude.
great
Yeah.
answers.
Yeah, we need a power forward in that top six. So, kind of just play the way like Tassos said. That's a player we could use in this lineup right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. I remember he had some comments like after training camp at the start of the season, like how he was like
ready.
expecting to be. And so I was a little concerned that it would kind of be like that, like a little, like almost like Alex Nylander-esque, like, just planning on playing. But those answers were great. It sounds like he's, he understands what he needs to do and kind of how to play a role. And we're all praying for his success because obviously we want all these guys to pan out. Hopefully he's just a dog, hopefully he's not just like another just like skill guy that's kind of scared to go down low and stuff. We need dogs.
The way I watch him play, like his game seems like the type that would translate to the NHL level. I'd be surprised. I mean, I'm not saying he's not going to be a star or anything, I don't think, but he could be a good bottom six player like a Landon Slager. Like I see a lot of that in him for sure. Yeah. But we'll see. Still guarantee.
Okay, so I was looking it up because he said his mom and sister are over in Europe for his sister's hockey. So I was looking up like where his sister plays. She plays somewhere called NAIT, which I'm going to guess right now is the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. I have no idea if that's
Europe?
correct or not. No, it's in Alberta, dude. But,
Why'd you say that they're in Europe?
Tournament or something.
They're just playing over there, probably doing something. But the other colleges in their conference, it's like Medicine Hat College, Lakeland College.
Oh, okay.
Keyshawn Gervais, that's where he went, actually.
Oh, really?
He played at Lakeland.
Oh, okay.
Red Deer Polytechnic. Oh, my God.
Real barn burner league here.
Oh, my God. Yeah, there's NAIT and SAIT. She plays on, and her name is Callie Dach.
That's pretty cool that her mom's, I don't know.
Traveling around.
Yeah, with the daughter, when you got two sons playing in the NHL. I don't know. I think that says like good things about the family.
That Dach family is a bunch of beauties. Like I'm still a fan of Kirby Dach. I hope he figures it out because he just seems like such a fun guy. Like I don't know if you ever listen to his spin chicklets review. We've been talking about them a lot today. Like it's just absolute beauty, just laying F-bombs and stuff. Like I love that guy. It's a shame it didn't work out the Hawks, but hope he can still figure it out there.
You know what about that interview though? Like that was the demarcation point because that was right before he went to the World Juniors and broke his hand when he was the captain there, and he really hasn't been the same since that.
Seriously, if we never send him there, who knows what happens, man.
I know.
Yeah, it's always if.
We're gonna talk more about Canada and the World Juniors, but like, because you have the Canadian fans being like, well, there was no Connor Bedard, and there was no Macklin Celebrini, and there was no Adam Fantilli, and it was like, those guys were never gonna play in the World Juniors this year, and like, I don't know. Now I am thinking about like these guys that like are NHLers. You remember last year when the Bruins sent Matt Patois down?
That's right.
And he was playing really, really well, and then they sent him to the World Juniors, and it's like nobody's heard from that kid since. Like maybe going back to the
NHL
World
teams
Juniors.
don't want to risk injuries and stuff of their players. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes teams view it as like, oh, I'm going to send my guy back down there, and he's going to dominate, and
Sometimes doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I was kind of wishing the Hawks sent Korchinski last season. I thought that could have maybe got his confidence back, but at the same time, it's like that could have a reverse effect too, like you said. This candidate. Well, we'll get to it later, but they have I think they got to take a look in the mirror in terms of why they lost. The roster construction, the coaching, the snubs, and they just didn't perform.
Yeah.
We'll play the headline game later for the headlines for different articles about the World Juniors because it's fun. It's a fun game to play. Can we finish out the
Wait,
Dach clip?
before we finish the Dach clip, I just want one more point I wanted to make about it is that, as much shit as I've given the Blackhawks for this season and everything, this is a cool move to like bring him up in time for this game against, I think that's cool.
Gets his brother on his birthday or before his birthday.
The way things have been going, you would have thought that they would have done it like tomorrow afterward and done it for the Rangers game.
Right.
At least they got something right.
And then immediately send him back down.
Frank, where you had chemistry with him down there too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, any little thing to get me more comfortable is going to help. So playing with him will be nice.
Your first NHL game is going to be an emotional moment to begin with. To have it also be a family game, is it almost too much?
No, I don't know. I think it's just going to make me feel more comfortable being able to see him across the ice on the other bench. So, and my dad will be here, so it'll be nice to kind of have that family moment, us three. So it'll be a cool moment for sure.
Did he tell you he's going to bump you or going to bump him?
No. I think my mom will want us to keep it family friendly out there.
You guys play against each other in the past at all, or
Just on an outdoor rink. Nothing organized. Yeah, no.
With your profile as a power forward and the Hawks kind of need to win more battles and kind of toughness around the net, what do you think you can bring to them?
Yeah, I think I'm going to bring that. I'm going to get hard in the forecheck and use my body to my advantage, try and win as many puck battles as I can, be a pest in front of the net, and just kind of create offense where I can.
Does it help having Andrews here too? Obviously, he's an assistant, or coaching now.
Yeah, like I said before, anything to make me more comfortable is going to help, and having that relationship with him is just going to make it that much easier.
I think a Dach brothers fight at center ice would be pretty entertaining.
gosh.
That'd be absolute cinema.
Also, the reporter asking, "Is this too much for you?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
Yeah,
you know what? I'm gonna send
me
this
back
one
down. I'm
out
not ready.
tonight. I'm not ready. Yeah.
What a
Yeah,
stupid
the
question.
lights are going to be really bright. I would rather play against, like a Utah or something.
Blue Jackets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on.
You're making your debut, man. I'm getting up for that match.
What a cupcake of
Is
the
there
question.
a better team to make your debut against than the Montreal Canadiens?
No.
Like, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
I love that. That's great. Actually, fun fact, Lucas Reichel made his debut against the Canadiens around this time 3 years ago, and I was at that game. So, yeah, I just want to throw that out there.
How poetic. Now he's getting scratched.
So, yeah, that's going to work out then, right? That's funny.
All right.
Did you guys watch the it's funny, great timing too, by the way, for the Blackhawks latest Every Shift episode. I'm sure all Hawks fans want to take in as much Blackhawks content as possible right now. I watched it, like, I can't even make a post about this. No man do for those episodes. I'm like, I got nothing here. I swear they spent more time in that episode discussing like the fit they wore to like walk into the ballpark, like the firefighter fit and the cherries, which that's cool, like that's great, love that. But like it feels like the Hawks were more caught up in all the festivities and the camaraderie and all that of the event than the game itself. Like the Blues were all business, man. I don't even know what they walked into what their fit was walking into.
Yeah, I didn't
Wrigley.
see any of that
Like
stuff.
seriously, they were focused on the game. It
the
feels
Blues?
like the Hawks.
Did you see what the Blues wore?
What is that?
They all went to the Gretzky's basement. They went to the Gretzky's basement and they all bought the same sweater. And they all walked in wearing the same Gretzky's basement sweater. It was actually pretty cool.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But like my point, like the Hawks always seem to get caught in the spectacle of these events. That's probably why they're 1-6 in them. So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, dude, I'm not going to lie. I saw the Every Shift episode on my YouTube algorithm, and I was like, nope,
Yeah, hell no.
I'm good.
You should have gone in the comments and been like, Chicago Hockey Radio.
Well, no, because then that would juice their... I don't want to boost anything that they're doing.
I haven't even
right
watched
now.
the latest Road to the Winter Classic episode. I probably should be, but just like I can't take any more Winter Classic stuff. It's gonna drive me crazy. Yeah, no.
Although I will say I will be in attendance at both college games tonight.
I'll be there tomorrow.
And you're coming with me tomorrow. Who plays tonight? It's Michigan, Ohio State, and
Penn State, Notre
Penn
Dame.
State, Notre Dame is the other one, and then tomorrow is OSU, Wisconsin women, and then
MSU, Wisconsin men.
MSU, Wisconsin men. So it should be really fun. I'm actually really jacked for these games.
Yeah,
And
those games are probably more exciting than the Winter Classic was.
I think the weather's going to be a lot better for it too.
Hope I won't get another cold.
Watch it just start downpouring right now.
Yeah,
too.
second I show up.
If that happens, you guys genuinely shouldn't go. Just
No, I won't.
Just
That sounds about right.
because then if you guys are sick as hell for another fucking week.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
this has been. I blame the team. It's the Hawks' fault that I'm sick, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're starting to come out of it though. Finally, on the other end
Yeah, a
of this.
little bit.
We sound like a bunch of like Chantix smokers. Fucking
I'm
commercial
Ray, and I
people.
quit smoking with Chantix.
Hawks playing the Habs tomorrow.
It's better now. Like, my voice was terrible. Like on the Winter Classic post game and the Wednesday show. It's getting there.
Yeah, dude. Before the show, I wanted to be like, dude, just don't save it. Like, do not talk anymore because your voice is about to be completely gone.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Hawks next game too is a Sunday versus the Rangers. I think I will be at that one, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, Hawks can get their shit together this weekend, right? Yeah.
All right. What do you guys want to do? You want to do questions now? Do you want to talk about the game on Sunday a little bit too, like the Rangers?
Teed up a little bit.
Yeah, you want to tee up
another show.
Yeah.
Is Igor out?
He is out.
He is injured reserve, and the Rangers. I think they're still last in the Metro, right?
Things go from bad to worse.
They're not making the playoffs.
They beat the Bruins last night.
Oh, they did. Okay, I think because Zibanejad finally broke his drought too. But yeah,
they took him off the power play.
If there's one team in the NHL is probably in as bad a spot as we are right now, it's the Rangers. Just in terms of expectations, right? It's been a disaster of a season for them. I know they just got a win, but it's like okay, it's like you're ripping a Band-Aid off there.
Tied with the Islanders for last in the Metro, but the Islanders have played 2 more games.
Yeah, New York City hockey, not going too well this year. Or New York hockey in general. I know the Sabres have been playing a bit better lately, though. To be fair, well, I say that like they didn't blow up. I don't know how they lost that game against the Avalanche last night, but we'll get into that in the NHL hour.
Brutal.
That was like I turned. I was 5-3. I'm like, oh, they won. I turned the game off. Then I check and see Devontae scored an OT winner. I'm like, well, with Sabres, that's never over, right?
Have we seen a team go from so close to the Stanley Cup final to like this kind of narrative around them lately? Like I can't remember the downfall being so quick.
Less than
half a year.
Yeah.
You do often, which was so crazy with Florida winning it last year, is like you often see teams that get to the Stanley Cup and then lose often, I think, fall off a little bit. But this is crazy. It's like you have most of the same team and they just shit the bed this year. Like they all just turned into bad players, seemingly. Like Kreider and Zibanejad were so electric last year. Like it felt like they could do no wrong. They had so much chemistry. Every time they were like the power play was disgusting. It was like they always knew where each other were. And they just like, I don't know, they faced some adversity this year and they obviously don't have the best mentals. And I've heard stuff about Zibanejad really cares about people's perception of him and stuff. And I don't know how true that is. That's just what like, you know, people around the team have said. But I mean, dude, this is crazy. Like they fell off and now it goes from bad to worse with Igor being injured.
It's funny. Is it just me, or do I look at this roster now and I'm like, it doesn't even look good anymore? Like, is it just me, or maybe they're overperforming a little bit? Like, maybe this is just who they are. Maybe they were frauds all along. I don't know. I find it funny. Like every time I see Brett Berard out there, like I start tripping a little bit. It's kind of funny.
Is that him?
Yeah, a similar name there. But yeah, the Rangers. Yeah, what an absolutely brutal downfall for them. Seriously, I haven't really seen anything like this in recency.
I mean, they're like scratching Chris Kreider, and they're like, you know, I've heard Adam Fox's name out there in trade rumors, and I think you're absolutely freaking insane if you're talking about trading Adam Fox.
Yeah, if they let him go, it's like you might as well just scrap the whole thing.
Like,
you might as well rebuild.
He's one of the few like unmovable pieces for me. Like that'd be ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. I also thought, this is turning into a chicklets glazing show, but the interview with Sean Avery, they were talking about like
so good.
How they need to market the fact that he's Jewish more in New York City, and you know, like doing more with that kind of stuff. And you know, I agree with that. There's a huge Jewish community in New York City, and you know, I don't know, like that's a captain for the New York Rangers type player. That's like a Brian Leach kind of, you know, like how are you talking about?
How is he not already captain? How did they pick Jacob Trouba for the team over him, who's now gone, obviously? But that didn't make sense to me.
And how do you not, like, I mean, do you think they name a captain before the end of the year, or do you think that's like a summertime thing?
No, because especially with where they're at now, like, I don't think they know who's going to be on the team next year.
Yeah.
You know?
That's insane to me.
Yeah, I know. To go from almost at a Stanley Cup, you know, couple wins away from winning, competing for a Stanley Cup to, you know, going to finish last in your division.
I mean, really the only guy who hasn't fallen off is Artemi Panarin, who I think I saw a stat. Does he have like the highest points like per game, like per like a minimum games played in Rangers history? I think he does.
Really?
Yeah, seriously. I think it's like 1.3 or something. So he's been cooking, but like pretty much everybody else on the team is falling off this year. I mean, relative to where they should be. Yeah.
It sucks because he's kind of just, I don't want to say he's wasted his prime. You know, they got to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but like, dude, I mean, that guy is so good, and now it just feels like it's over with New York. I don't know. Like, how do you salvage this at this point? Like, especially if you're going to move off Kreider and Zibanejad, like, you had so much success because you had that sick first line of Panarin, Lafreniere, and Trocheck. And then you had those two on the second line that were like, that could have been a first line last year. Like, that second line was as good as like any first line in the league last year, production wise. But now that they are just nowhere to be found, it's like you need to replicate your success. You need, studs again. So it's like, if these guys aren't the guys, how are you going to find two or three more like stars in the league? I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
I think the Rangers fixed their problems. They hope Jonathan Quick resurrects a 2012 form and carries them.
Dude, honestly, that's their best hope.
Before Shesterkin went down, like, he has not been having a great season himself. To be honest, my fantasy team contested that.
Well, also, I mean, I think it's probably not super easy to play behind this Rangers roster. No, but you're right though.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's been the best goalie in the league. Like, you can't compare what he's done this year to Connor Hellebuyck.
And outside the Fox Lindgren pair, like, Miller's had a rough season, and like, who even like the rest of these guys? It's like, it's just not much there.
That was another thing they talked about.
Keandre Miller hasn't been as good as he was. Ryan Lindgren has struggled a bit at times.
Yeah.
He gets handcuffed with the puck on his stick sometimes. I don't know.
Is Keandre Miller a guy you'd like to see the Blackhawks try to? Yeah.
Yes.
Just raw potential.
Yes. I would go. You don't think so, Justin?
I've said this before. I'm not actually making moves for defensemen right now. That's not no.
Even if it were like D out, D in kind of deal.
No, yeah, that maybe that, but Miller, I'm just not like. I see the potential, the raw potential, but I'm not really a big fan of his game, to be honest.
Would you do like a Nolan Allen in a third?
Yes. For Keandre Miller,
okay,
dude,
that's different. I don't think they would accept that though. Yeah, they'd be. Yeah.
What about like Nolan Allen in a second?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I would even throw in like a Del Mastro in there too. I don't know. Just I think, like I said, I've said this like weeks and months ago, but you have so many guys that eventually you're gonna have to start doing these like 2-for-1, 3-for-1 kind of deals for the Blackhawks, right? Hey, take 3 prospects for this one player, right?
It's a logjam,
Yeah. So that's why I would like to see something like that, Yeah,
because if you're just waiting for all of them to either pan out or not pan out, you're going to get to a point where some guys are just going to leave for nothing.
And also have no value.
Yeah.
Like, Ethan Del Mastro has value right now on the trade market, but if in 2 years he's not an NHLer, he has no trade value.
Yeah.
He has no trade value.
No, it's true. You kind of got to take risks.
Yeah,
that's fair. Do y'all want to get to the questions?
Yeah, we have a lot of questions, so let's do it today. All right, Friday mailbag. Reminder, send in your questions to us via Instagram, DM, or on Discord. We answer questions every Friday. They could be Hawks related. They could not be Hawks related, although a majority of the questions we get are Hawks related. Shocker. So let's kick her off. We got quite a bit of questions to get to today. This one's a long one. Holy cow, Thomas. All right, from Thomas. Friday question. We can all agree Philip Kurashev has been disappointing this season. Coming into this season, I thought he could potentially be a solid middle six forward for this developing Blackhawks team and even be a nice depth piece for when we become somewhat of a contender. What is his future looking like with the team? Do we trade him? Do we accept him playing a bottom six role where he's been struggling? Do we try and force him into a top six role where he hasn't found his groove? It seems to me that management was counting on him this season to be Bedard's winger, and he hasn't met the expectations, leaving a big hole in our offense.
I think the future for Phil Kurashev is the Kunlun Red Star in China. Well, seriously, like I don't even know how they answer that. Like I don't have the answer. Like I feel like we've tried everything in Kurashev. We tried to put him back on Bedard's wing. That didn't work. The 2C thing didn't work. We tried him the bottom six. That hasn't worked. He's been scratched like 3 different times this season. He was scratched like 4 straight games before, coming out of the break, and then brought back for the Winter Classic. That went great. Actually, no, he was scratched for the Winter Classic, but he was brought back before that. That didn't go well. He's just been a disaster of a season. I think 5 points in 30 games, negative like 27 or something. I'm not sure why he fell off so bad, because he was such a good piece for us last season. He was Bedard's only consistent line mate, and this year he's fallen off. He's been even worse than like the few years before last year. He's at least a consistent 20-30 point guy at the bottom six, and he hasn't even been that. So it's like you can't even really play him in a certain role, because it's not like he's good defensively or anything. So for the Hawks, like I don't really know what you do with him. I don't think anybody's really going to want him right now. I think he's what do you think? I don't know.
I don't think he is going to do it here. I mean, this season has been so bad. And as you just mentioned, like, he's not a bottom 6 guy, like, it's just not his play style. So, and he doesn't like he's been so bad that he shouldn't be in your top 6. So I think if he's still on the team next year, I think it's like a mistake. It's like, what are you doing? Like, still trying to force it with this guy. Like, that minus is so bad. Like, whatever it is, it's so bad. It's the worst in the league. I don't think he has a future with the Blackhawks, unfortunately, because I'll admit it. I was wrong. Like, I was really high on him to start the year. Too. I thought he should have been the guy that should have been playing with Bedard early on, and I capped. I was wrong. Unfortunately, I think the Philip Kurashev experiment is done because I think some of the fall off is like there was more pressure on him to succeed this year. Like
last year he was the only guy, right? You could always count on being on Bedard's wing because he had nobody else. He developed that chemistry early on and stuck with it, especially with Hall going off an injury. It's like they're kind of forced to do that, right? But this year you bring in all these new pieces, so he's competing for spots in that top 6. And he didn't start the season with Bedard, right? He started off at center, which was kind of odd because he's definitely more of a winger, and that didn't go well. I feel like it killed his confidence early on, kind of like Reichel last season, and he hasn't been able to find it since then. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Not much to add there, fellas. Trade him right now.
Yeah. If anybody wants him, we're gonna get a bag of pucks at this rate.
Yeah, start shipping out, guys. 2x2 out the door. All right. So you and I have already kind of answered this question a little bit because it was so good that I had to bring it up when the day he asked it. But I will ask it again so we can get Lee's thoughts and also just have the discussion again. From Quinn, all right, hear me out. The Hawks suck, not breaking news. I'm fresh out of, quote, Hawks lose, but Bedard points, quote, and the city of Chicago deserves something to root for. Let's say we get a top 3 pick. Trade it. Get something that makes us a better team now. Hagens, Martone, they won't play next year. I want somebody that can step into the lineup next year so we can win some games. We don't need to win the cup next year, but Chicago needs a team to root for. No question in there, but I don't know.
I think he's going to agree with my take here.
Yeah. Who do you get though? Who do you get? Like, I don't know if I want to trade a top 3 pick for a guy that's over the age of 28 years old.
How old's Adam Fox?
Well, shit, if you can get Adam Fox, you do that in a heartbeat. Yes.
Yeah, Justin?
Well, yeah, but like he says, I want to bring up his point. I don't know if I brought up last time. Like, yeah, okay, Hagens, Misa, Martone, yeah, they won't help us next year, but they're sure as hell going to help us for the long term, a sustainable long term future. So it's like I agree with him. Yes, I want to be better, but I don't think you have to trade our top 3 pick to make that happen. I think you could, pick top 3 and make an off season, signing a trade, whatever. But I don't think it has to be the top. I don't want to give up a top 3 pick. No.
That is the definition of rushing a rebuild.
Yes,
but if you can get a guy like Fox or Pedersen or someone like that.
No. Whoa. Fox or Pedersen, those aren't the same guys, brother.
I'd prefer more about Pedersen. We need 4.
I wouldn't trade a top 3 pick for Elias Pedersen.
Not
really?
Top 3.
You
wouldn't? Not top
no,
3,
no.
but like I'd be interested in Pedersen, but not top 3. Yeah.
No way.
I was saying some people put JT Miller's name out there for the Hawks. I'd be more interested in Pedersen than JT Miller.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's a stud, and yeah, he's had a rough year, and
he's had a rough couple of years. Who's
Who's that?
Pedersen.
Yeah. But I think he could get it. I think he could get it figured out, though. It's potential there. I think it's more just the fit isn't working there at the moment.
Did you trade a top 3 pick for Brady Tkachuk?
Yes, I would trade my fucking aunt for Brady Tkachuk.
He's Brady Tkachuk's biggest fan over there.
I'd trade loved ones for Brady Tkachuk. No, I'm kidding, but not really. Yes.
I don't think you are.
Yes,
Hope her girlfriend is listening to this
I
show.
would trade. No, not her.
Oh, okay. Some loved ones.
I would trade a top 3. Are you kidding me? What? Yes.
Okay. Right.
Would you?
Yes.
Not?
No,
okay.
I
Jesus.
would.
I'd give that fucking kid the keys to the city. That's a guy you win a Stanley Cup with.
All right.
Yeah.
Next question. Last one from Instagram. Hey, boys. Oh, okay. Hold on. Whenever you answer questions. From people I was wondering what your thoughts on the Bedard-Celebrini comparisons are. So many people saying Celebrini is better than Bedard, which I don't agree with, but to be fair, he's playing super well and Bedard has had a slow start. Overall, wondering if you feel threatened by Celebrini's early success relative to our boy Bedard.
No, and by the way, Matt Celebrini is not doing anything this season that like is like better or like that's something that Bedard wasn't doing last season. I keep hearing that like saying out there, oh, this 18-year-old hasn't done this since Connor McDavid. Like his points per game and all that, maybe it's slightly better than Bedsy last year, but Macklin has like a way better. He has much more weapons around to work with than Bedsy had last year. Bedsy had Philip Kershaw. Look what he's done this year. Jack Squad. He had nothing last year. He has nothing this year, and he's still the top producer on the Hawks, and he has been both these last 2 years. Celebrini has more around him. I think there are parts of his game that are more complete. I will say, I think he's a better defensive player. He's better on faceoffs, more physical at the size thing. Like he has a leg up there. So there are definitely parts of Macklin's game I will give him credit for. I'd say are better than Bedsy, but I think Bedsy's ceiling is still way higher. I think people recency bias with these comparisons has been unreal, dude. I think people are forgetting just who this guy is. And I think these comparisons are going to age pretty poor because I've been seeing so many celebrating greater than Bedard takes, and it's just like, wow, okay, sure. I mean, maybe if you think that right now, if you just look at the stats, okay, but like I don't think it's going to age very well.
Yeah, like Connor Bedard, sure, like his season this year might not have so far has been as good as we might have thought it was, but just given the season with like just this Blackhawks team, like, dude, we're still talking about a perennial like Art Ross Hart Trophy contender. Like in Connor Bedard. Like Connor Bedard is going to be one of, if not the best player in the league in a few years. Like Celebrini is sick, but he's more of like a Taze Bergeron, like even whereas Bedard, we're talking about like a McKinnon, Kucherov, McDavid-esque like category of player.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Like, I think with Seth Bedsy, it's going to take a little bit of time, like, especially, it's going to take some time for the team around to get better until we really see his full game unlocked. He elevates guys, but he also needs to be elevated too. Whereas Celebrity, I think the way he plays his game is kind of translated right away, so I'll give him credit there. I think with Taze, it did as well. Like, he came in the league right away, had like a 10-game point streak his rookie year, like, was, first game, first shot. Like, it translated right away. And Bedsy, it has too, but I think, like, Bedsy's only scratched the surface of what he could do. Whereas Celebrity, yeah, he's going to get better, but I just don't think he has the same type of, ceiling as Connor Bedard does.
Yeah, play Celebrini.
Put Bedard on that Sharks team, and he is well over Celebrity's production.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
He's well over a point per game on that team. And also, put Celebrini with Ilya Mikheyev and fucking team, Tyler Bertuzzi, and then talk to me.
His stats are nowhere near where they would be. Not even close, right?
So and for all you Blackhawks fans listening, you don't need to hear. Don't even engage in those in that kind of discourse.
Don't take the bait. I've been seeing a lot of, sensationalism with that stuff. And look, Celebrini, you give him credit. He's a great player. Fantastic. Love to watch him. Wish he was a Blackhawk. We had to win those 2 games last year. Imagine if we had Bedsy, Celebrini with the 1-2 connection. That would
be unbelievable.
I mean, we could fantasize over that all day. It's not happening, but hopefully, Higgins, Mason Raton, that'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Is Alex Vlasic from Discord? Please join our Discord. Is Alex Vlasic Jacob Slavin 2.0?
I could see a little bit of that. I could see a little bit.
I like the comp.
Because he's, obviously he's a defensive, but he does have some offensive upside to his game. We've seen that this season, right? He's already, equal last year's totals, and we're not even halfway through the season. I think his defensive game, is really strong from that aspect. One of the best. I think he's one of the best. He could be one of the best in the league from that aspect. So I can see that.
On Chicklets, when Taylor Hall said that Vlasic can do everything, he wasn't just saying he's a good defensive defenseman. Mm-hmm. He said he could do everything. So, I think he's going to be legit for us in one of the top defensemen in the league. Like, I actually do genuinely think that. Something else from the Discord, and I think it was Trevor who's super active in chat right
Trevor.
now.
He's always active.
Yeah. I think he was the one who
with the draft breakdown.
Yeah, with the draft breakdown, and he just talked a little bit in chat about. Something that he also said in the Discord was that 2026 is a massive free agency, year with guys like McDavid and Kaprizov, and he alluded to the fact of the Blackhawks getting like one of those guys. It's not even just that like the Blackhawks situation right now is so bad, and like why would any of those guys want to come here? But it's more so just there's no way the Wild or the Oilers are going to let those guys go without giving them absolutely everything they possibly can.
The entire bag adds some. Yeah.
Yeah. One, I don't think Leon Draisaitl would have re-signed in Edmonton
If they didn't know that David was going to
Connor
be
wasn't
resigning.
going
if he didn't know that Connor was going to stick around.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, Wayne Gretzky left Edmonton, you know, for anyway. It's not going to happen. It's we're gaslighting
Yeah,
ourselves
that
into
was,
thinking
that
that.
was Peter Pocklington, though. That
Yeah,
crook.
no, I think McDavid's he's an Oiler for life. Yeah,
Wayne Gretzky wanted to stay in Edmonton, so.
But to be fair to Trevor's point, the Hawks will have a ton of room. We're going to have a ton of cap space. So I mean the chance of us bringing in a big fish, like we should be able to do it. I don't know if it's going to be one of those guys, but yeah, join the Discord because Trevor put a lot of good stuff in there, and he talked about like different draft breakdowns and kind of what the roster is going to look like next year. So worth a read, honestly.
All right, last question from the Discord, and it's actually one for me. So, but you guys can help me out with it a little bit. Tassos, I know you used to coach, so this might be a fun question or topic for the boys. If you were put in as coach for the Blackhawks at the beginning of the season, what do you estimate your record would be after 82 games, and how many points would Bedard have under your system? Okay, so I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now. I think. Look, I'm not saying that I like am an NHL head coach here at all. You know, everybody loves playing NHL GM, armchair GM, and all that fun stuff.
yeah.
You know, we do it here on this show. Yeah. However, what I will say is sometimes we say things on this show, and
They do it.
And
they
we're
do
right.
it,
Yes.
and we're right.
Yeah.
You know, so. It's not like we're a bunch of idiots
No.
here at the same time, too. Like, I played hockey my whole life.
I played hockey.
I've coached, you know, I've managed, you know, I've been the GM of some pretty high level international stuff, like stuff I've never thought I'd be a part of before. So, you know, and I've been watching hockey for 26 years
You know
now.
what you're talking about.
So, like, I don't think I'm a complete idiot here.
You couldn't
So-
be much worse than Luke Richardson. I mean, no, seriously. Like, you're still
So-
talking about an NHL roster. Like, could you have been worse than 9-16-3 or whatever it
You
was?
could probably do better than unders right now too.
Look, am I going to sit here and say I'd get the Hawks to the playoffs? No. Do I think I could probably get some more out of some guys? Probably a little bit.
Really?
I think
yeah.
I'd have a system for Bedsy. That would be my entire system.
Yeah.
As long as he's producing, I'm happy.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I think I could get him going with some of the players and just, you know, some of the ways that the Blackhawks are playing a little bit and opening up some more offense for him. I'm not going to say I'd probably get him to 100 points, but I think I'd get him to at least 90 points. So, you know, that is how I think I would do, and I think we'd probably win 35 games. I think I could win.
Yeah.
I think I could win 35 games
Damn.
with the Hawks.
My
Wow.
boy's backing himself.
Is that, you think that's a bit of a high estimate?
I mean, probably more than me.
Yeah, I think record wise, I'd probably
think,
coach it.
I think my Blackhawks team coaching against your Blackhawks
I don't
team,
know.
we'd smoke you.
My philosophy is so,
Sweep
like,
you.
for anybody listening, I've never played hockey a day in my life. I don't even know how to really skate.
Wait, they teach this guy to play.
Have you guys seen the movie Dodgeball?
Yeah.
You know that
Oh, I love that
coach
movie.
that's just like in a wheelchair and is just like screaming at guys and throwing wrenches
Patches
at him and
O'Houlihan.
shit. That would kind of be my philosophy. I would just be a motivator. I would just be screaming at guys, and then I'd be in like a wheelchair on the ice, and guys would like skate me around just so I could like give it to certain guys.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, a fun question. That was a really fun
I think
question.
I'm probably somewhere between Lee and Tassos when it comes to my hockey knowledge.
If I was the coach though, here's like dumb shit like scratching Lucas Reichel wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen if I was the coach.
Reichel would be playing, you know, top line minutes consistently with Bedard in my system. I think the way we're playing him now, it reminds me a lot of Jeremy Colton, Dylan Strome. Like, he'd be playing him a lot, you know, 4 flying minutes and scratching him every other night. And look at what he's doing now with the Capitals, right? I could totally see Lucas Reichel like thriving elsewhere because I think he's still there's still a piece there, but I don't know if it's gonna work out the Hawks. I think we've been making all the wrong moves with him. So players like that, I think, like with young players would thrive under my system, but we probably wouldn't do that much better. To be
Yeah,
honest with you.
my system, we'd lose every single game 7 to 8.
Hawks lose a Bedard point every single game in my system for the tank, you know.
All right. And that was questions.
I love that last question. That was a great question.
Yeah, that was a super fun question. Keep them coming. Join our Discord. Ask questions. DM us on Instagram. If you don't have Discord or you're not a Discord guy, that's okay. You can DM us questions on Instagram. We'll still find you. We got like 7 people in the Discord right now and just hanging out. Everybody's active. So love you all. Appreciate you all. Keep sending questions. We'll be back next Friday for that. You want to take a break and then we'll do
One question.
NHL?
When Trevor asks, when does AA come back?
I just saw a tweet. I think he's practicing again for the Ice Hogs, so I'm not sure if he's going to stick with the Hogs or maybe get called back up. I feel like this Hogs team could use him right now, to be honest. I hope he would.
You think?
Yeah, I think we could use
it's
anything
another
right now. They could use
crazy
me out
decision.
there. Which we never understood saying him down to begin with, and he got hurt down there. So anyway, he's an AHL player. He's not an AHL guy, but hopefully he'll be back soon. Yeah.
All right, get a jump start on the giveaway. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave a 5-star rating and review. We'll be back in a few short moments with NHL Hour. It's the NHL edition of Chicago Hockey Radio. Happy Friday, everybody. We're right back at you. Lee Grossman, Justin Lynch, Tassos Kirkos, and Raven Gasser bringing it to you live on YouTube. Also available everywhere you get your podcasts afterward. Follow, subscribe, 5 stars, all that good stuff. All right. Kind of a Blackhawks topic to lead off the NHL hour before we get into this World Junior Madness. Jonathan Toews and the return to the National Hockey League.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Do you think it could actually happen? Jonathan Toews
Yes.
comeback?
Yeah.
It sounds like it. You know, that 5-week India healing journey wasn't just a mental health trip. It was like to get him back, in game shape. I think he's back down to playing weight, according to Frank Saravalli. He's back to skating, and it seems like teams are showing interest. I think like maybe teams like the Avalanche, the Maple Leafs, etc. I'd love to see JT back. Unfortunately, he won't be with the Blackhawks. I don't know if it'll be this season or next, but that'd be pretty sick. I think Jonathan Toews, he didn't hear no bell, boys.
That would be so sick.
Yeah.
I want it to happen so
How
bad.
about Red Wings of Patrick Kane? No.
No, I wouldn't want that. I want him to go. Should we do who we'd like to see him play for?
I want to see the Avalanche.
can
I
we
think he'd be a
read-
great fit there.
So this is from Frank
GQ.
Saravalli. I'm pulling this from Hockey Worldwide on Instagram right now. Frank Saravalli reports that Jonathan Toews, quote, has resumed skating, is feeling the best he has felt in years, and is also back down to his playing weight.
Yeah.
So this comes after the 36-year-old went on a 5-week healing journey to India, where he underwent an Ayurvedic detox. Okay, Toews has apparently been battling chronic inflammation, and that was the reason why he is playing. And apparently, this detox has like completely fixed it all. So
he's
that's
back.
that's the report, is that like he's come back from this like totally feeling like none of these things have happened to him.
Could be seeing prime Jonathan Toews back here. And in all honesty, I think, being away from the game for that long, it's probably not going to be like that. But hopefully a better version of Toews than we saw the last 2 years. It's definitely a shell of himself. But he can still be an effective player. I think he could still be a good third-line center contender, put up 30, 40 points, good defensive player, great at faceoffs. I mean, last season in the NHL, I think he led the NHL in faceoffs, like 60+%. Great leader, just great veteran presence. And he always steps up in the playoffs, too. Captain clutch for a reason. So you're really telling me a team wouldn't want a guy like that come playoff time? No, I think so.
Yeah, I think he would fit like a glove on the Florida Panthers.
Oh, you want the Panthers?
Yeah, I want him on a team like that. I don't want him on any like. For me, Panthers are going to make another run again. I know people like are talking about like Tampa and Toronto and stuff, but I think that Panthers team is still so good, and it's going to be so easy for them to turn it on in the playoffs. I wouldn't even want him to be at Chicago, because it's like if he came and played for Chicago and things were still going really bad, and then it's like, oh, why do we have Jonathan? He'd kind of be a scapegoat. It'd be really easy to not play well on this team. I want him to be on a roster that's so good that like even if he kind of struggles at first, they don't even do anything about it because they're still like succeeding.
No, I want him to come to Chicago and teach Bedsy how to win faceoffs. He could be a faceoff coach for a boy. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I see your point. I don't think he would want to come back anyway. He was kind of forced out like Kaner. So, yeah, I think he probably want to play contender at this stage like Patty Kane.
Did you guys mention Vegas as an option?
I don't want to see that. I do not want to see Vegas. Hell no.
I wouldn't mind that.
You wouldn't?
No. I anywhere that he can win.
Not Vegas, man. Oh.
How about the Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah.
Apparently, they're one of the front runners here, according to an article by Colton Davies.
The Leafs always forget to show up come playoff time, so you think JT would be able to help them out with that? Yeah.
You would think. I mean, they've tried to do that before, bringing in guys like Thornton and Marlowe and, Spezza.
Well,
and
Thornton
those
and
kinds of
Marlowe
guys.
on the Sharks teams that never showed up in the playoffs. JT always stepped it up with the Hawks clutch, so maybe he can help them out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see it. I want to see it really bad. But the thing that nobody's certain that it's going to happen this year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
it's probably
It's
not.
not be like a Landeskog situation where you're waiting around, who knows?
Which-
Indefinite.
It would be so sick if it was like, right before the playoffs and he
I
just
could see
signs with the
that.
team and
Yeah.
we get to see him playing the playoffs right away.
Goes on a insanity run one more time. I got one more in me.
Yeah.
I love that. It's funny. I was wrong. I assumed that he was done. I thought he has nothing more to prove. And I don't think he really has anything more to prove. But
He
clearly,
doesn't, no.
clearly, Captain Sirius doesn't agree with that. He didn't. Yeah, he's not done. So I missed watching him. Hockey's not the same without Jonathan Toews. So I'd like to see him back. And even if it's not for the Hawks, that'd be great. That'd be amazing. But it still sounds like I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Ooh, or Detroit?
No.
No.
Patty
Not
Kane?
Detroit.
Why? No,
I
they
want to see him
suck.
with Patty Kane. Although with the Red Wings, that would be kind of bittersweet.
Don't care.
Yeah.
No.
No, they
that's the
suck.
one.
It's not. It wouldn't even be fun to watch them just be bad together on a team I don't like. No, that would make me sick. I'd rather him play for Chicago. Why not play for? I'd rather him play for Chicago than Detroit.
Yeah, take the C back. Would that happen if he came with the Hawks? Would he get the C back, or would he have the A with Foligno? How would that work out?
Oof. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that would look like. Ooh, Raven, I'm sending
Just
you
get
some
Betsy the
juicy
C
clips
and then Foligno Tays the A's.
Some juicers for.
on Instagram. Yeah. I would love. Sorry, I'm just prepping for World Junior Talk a little bit.
Okay.
This is gonna be. You want to just do it?
I think Jonathan Tays is really trying to get for Team Canada and the Four Nations. Clearly, they could use them. Hockey Canada in shambles right now. Let's transition to the. Do you guys
Nice
want to transition
segue.
to the World Juniors?
Nice segue. I mean,
Yeah.
my gold medal pick is screwed. You guys beat me.
Yeah,
Whatever.
I picked them for the silver, so I didn't do much better. But Jesus, this Canadian team. Well, when you leave off guys like Beckett Seneca, Michael Misa, Nick Lardis, just go down the list. Parekh.
Andrew Crystal, Zane Parekh, Carter Yakimchuk.
Yeah, just name them all. Like, I think the Canada B team probably would have beaten this A team here. Like, their snubs would have done better.
Okay, before we move, I need you guys to like better explain that to me though. Like, how are they just straight up leaving
Politics.
top talent off the roster? Like, that makes no sense.
Hockey Canada just seems like they're in shambles right now. They're not in sync. And the coaching too. Dave Cameron, man, he said he had no regrets after this tournament. What do you mean you have no? They weren't even practicing. The Canadian team wasn't even practicing. Like, what are you doing?
And did you hear the quote about why they weren't practicing? He said they were exhausted.
No, it's just for tired players. I guarantee you, every other country.
soft.
I bet you Kazakhstan was practicing. I bet you all these other nations are practicing. That's ridiculous.
Well, Kazakhstan shouldn't really be the model of,
Well, my point is, like, everybody else, I'm sure was. So, I mean, you're can't. So it's like you're coming into it like being all cocky, thinking you're too good for it, overconfident in your home country, and then you let them down. So, yeah, that's very telling.
Yeah, I thought Dave Cameron was a bit arrogant, to be honest with you.
Yes.
I just sent Raven a really juicy clip from friend of my show, Stephen Ellis, who's one of the chief editors for Daily Faceoff.
Okay.
One of the best prospect guys in hockey. So he's like really, really tapped into the World Juniors. He did a hit with Sports 1440 about Dave Cameron. Can we play this clip? It's awesome.
Scout earlier this morning when we heard that it was going to be Carson Raycop coming out of the lineup for Canada, and he said, I would not let Coach Dave Cameron run a McDonald's drive-through at 3 a.m. when there's nobody there. Like, this is, I do not understand some of these roster decisions between, like with Raycop and Porter Martone. They have not been in the lineup at any point together.
I don't get it.
They play together all year long in the OHL.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you don't want to try that, that's weird. But if you don't, put Martone with Gavin McKenna, where they went out there and had the two best tournaments ever seen at the U18s by a Canadian player. I received a note from a scout earlier this morning.
Yeah, that was it. But
yeah, Martone was scratched 2 games in a row. Then he comes in, scores a goal. Yeah, you already played the tournament. McKenna, too, probably could have had more ice time. Only a goal in 5 games, but he looked good. Was one of their better players. Instead, they played guys like Easton Cowan, who, my goodness, maybe had one of the worst performances I've seen in the World Juniors. This Canadian team in general, I've been watching the World Juniors for 10 years. Probably the worst team I've seen them ice out. It's generally embarrassing. Connor Bedard would have never let this happen. He would have never embarrassed his country on the national stage. That's our real generational talent there.
But the team should still have beaten Czechia.
Yeah. But brother, they lost to Latvia.
Yeah.
They got embarrassed by us. I was kind of hoping we'd play them again. I wanted to, beat them for the gold medal. But anyway, that is what it is.
I was genuinely bummed that they lost because I knew we were going to beat them again. And I knew by the time, if it got to a gold medal game and we were playing them, I know that the narrative, like Canada would somehow be a slight favorite again. And like these Canadian fans would all be hyped up and think that they're going to actually win again. And then we just get to crush them again.
These media people were just totally hyping this team up too, saying they're the favorites. Oh, this is better than the U.S. squad. I was never sold on that. I always thought the U.S. squad was better. You can go back and listen to the shows. Yeah, I said it. Not just me being a biased American. We pick our best players. Canada used to do that, but now they're overthinking. They're leaving off better talent, trying to create like these role teams. Like, that doesn't work out. Check out the U.S. in the World Cup of Hockey 2016. That's what happens when you leave out your best players and try to make like this like team. Like, it doesn't work out. You can't overthink things. You got to pick your best players for a tournament like that.
It also just feels like there's just such a mentality difference between the Canadian players and the U.S. players. Like, the U.S. players,
they love being the villains.
They love it. They want to be the heel. They want to be the bad guys. They want to go into a barn that's you've got all the absolutely packed and fans screaming at them. They live for that shit. These Canadian guys are just, it's just a soft team. It's like a little bit of a diversity. You get a guy thrown out because of a kneeing penalty, and then it's like, it's just shit show from there. It's like,
there were 2 kneeing penalties.
I know, and we can get into
They're
that.
blaming the refs too. Maybe some calls were soft, but I thought the officiating was pretty fair. I think it's just the Canadians are playing undisciplined hockey. That's what it is. But let's talk about the crowd. It's like those Canadian fans were cheering. They weren't cheering against the U.S. even when we weren't playing Canada. They're cheering against the opposition every time. Which I don't know how much people are going to show up to these games. They don't even have a team to watch for these gold medal bronze medal games in the semis. So the whole reason they played in Canada every year is for attendance. But I don't know how it's going to be for these last few games. I'm sure they'll still show up. They're diehards, but I'm sure they'll cheer against the U.S. because we have rent free in their head 51st state.
Okay, so here's the penalty minutes for the World Juniors right now.
Canada leads it, right, by a lot.
Canada leads it by a lot. Canada has
25 or something?
113 penalty minutes.
That's insane.
An
Haven't they
average-
just played like 5 games?
Wait, 113 in 5 games?
Yep, for an average of 22-36 in penalties a
I was
game.
thinking the average.
You're
20.
playing over an entire period.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like, what are you? Oh my gosh, dude. So can you guys get into it a little bit? Because I don't. Obviously, I didn't grow up playing hockey like you guys. I saw a lot of people in the comment section of the YouTube videos and stuff just complaining about the refs and how they've been abysmal this tournament and how those penalties. So
Oh,
I
you know
guess
what?
they
I did
weren't
not-
knee to knee.
I didn't like the kneeing calls. I didn't like either of them. I didn't think either of them were kneeing. And there was also another kneeing call in one of the earlier quarterfinal games yesterday. I think it was Sweden-Latvia. There was a kneeing call that was really not a kneeing call. And it felt like the most kneeing call of the three of them. And it just...
They're not consistent.
I don't know why. And it is double IHF refereeing, you know.
Worse
And,
than NHL.
you know, they are harder on things like checks from behind and, you know, boarding and stuff like that. Sometimes the calls are a bit softer,
Yeah.
I guess we could
But
say.
it's bad for everybody, though. It's not like they had it out for Canada. I know they have the most penalty minutes, but that's the way they play. It's like you have to adjust your style of play, you know, in these types of tournaments, and they didn't, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the roster construction stuff too. We were talking about this
Terrible.
before the game.
Terrible.
And I've heard this take from quite a few people. They were building their team like the United States used to build their teams, which was, hey, we're going to take these guys who already play a third and fourth line role and second and third line role, and we're going to bring them along for the ride, as opposed to what Canada used to do, which was, we're going to get the best players and they're going to adapt to those roles, right? And now the United States is doing that. They're bringing all these, like last year's World Junior team was loaded, and all those kids played their roles. And, you know, this team is even a little bit weaker than last year's team, right? But still the same thing,
They're adjusting
right?
fine.
They're adjusting to the roles. You know, you got the top line of Higgins, Leonard, and Perot, and then everybody else is like filling into those roles
Oliver
really
Morris filled
nicely.
this role really nicely. We talked about Hawks prospect. He had 2 assists last night. One of them, Jay's Higgins. So hopefully that's a sign of things to come, like I said earlier. But he's done a great job in this tournament. Like that's the thing, U.S. players, they're, like you said, it's like you can have these like star players still fill those roles. So you don't have to pick a fourth liner to do that, right? You can have these first line players adjust to playing in a third, fourth line or bottom pair role on D too, right? Yeah.
Those kneeing penalties, if it wasn't knee to knee, for like when I watched the replays, like what? So then what is that? Like, because those looked like ugly, dumb hits. Like the guys, they're skating with their legs sideways, leading with their knee, and yeah, it wasn't knee to knee. They got like their groin, but it's like. I don't know. It's still like stupid hits. It's like if you're gonna hit a guy in open ice, like run through him. Don't fucking stick your knee out. Like you're begging to get called. I don't even know how you could watch that and cope and be like, no, that wasn't kneeing. That wasn't knee to knee. It's like it was still a bad hit. Like you're rolling the dice of getting penalized there. Like when refs see that type of play where yeah, you got your knee sticking out and then the other guy's leg goes flying behind their body. What do you think? Like, you've been penalized so much this tournament. Why are you going for hits like that? I don't know. It's stupid. It's a whole lot of copium from the Canadian camp.
Yeah, I agree. I still think it's very funny, though. I do enjoy watching, you know, the blow up, even though they were my... And I do kind of, you know, this is very anti-American of me, but I do cheer for Canada on the international stage a lot of the time. It's more a family tie thing than anything else, you know. But yeah, I don't know. And all my earliest memories of that. The social media
blowout was just so funny to watch.
I sat reading Instagram comments for like an hour last night.
Yeah. But for the U.S., though, you know, they've been playing really well. 7-2 win against the Swiss. I hope they can, you know, close it out, right? Especially without Canada here. And all the talk and stuff. Like, we better, you know, show up clutch here this weekend and come away with the goal. Anything less than that. U.S. has never gone back-to-back. Like, this feels like the end of the this squad. Feels too good. Like, hopefully they can close it out here. Yeah.
They will take on Sweden tomorrow in their semifinal.
Czechia, right?
Yeah,
Czechia.
It's Czechia, and then Sweden and Finland.
Czechia. It's Czechia.
Czechia. Okay, Czech Republic. Yeah, Czechs. Yeah.
Are you thinking of Czechia over there?
He said it first, and then that made me say
they were my bronze medal pick. And that team, I'm pretty sure I said it leading into that matchup too. Like, that's not an easy quarterfinal game for the Canadians. That's like you put yourself in that situation, right? The group play, the seeding. So, not an easy game at all for the U.S. tomorrow. It's gonna be a tough one, but hopefully hopefully they could come away and yeah, play either Sweden, either a rematch of Sweden from last year or Finland, who beat us earlier. But hopefully the U.S. can understand it now if they play them again. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that Finland-Slovakia game too? That was kind of a crazy
Slovakia
game.
actually kind of outplayed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slovakia started their backup goalie in the game.
I didn't understand. I saw Urban come in. I'm like, why didn't he just start the game?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that was weird.
It was super weird.
Yeah.
It was super weird. And they had, that was like, this has been a few years of underperforming years for the Slovaks. Dalibor Dvorsky leads the tournament in points right now, and he's out. So, yeah, I don't know. Didn't love it.
Yeah. So also, what did hurt Canada though was like the Schaefer injury too. I think he's out for like 3 months now too. And definitely like the stocks coming into this like tournament, it was like Higgins versus Schaefer, and Higgins he's probably had one of the best tournaments, and Schaefer is out 3 months. So that's the duality of man right there. I do feel for him.
8 points in 5 games for James Higgins, 4-4.
Yeah, potential future Blackhawk there. Hopefully, we'll see. Yeah.
I would love it if they could get Higgins at like the number 2 or 3 spot. I don't know if he falls that low.
Though. It feels like if he wasn't like 1 before, it feels like he's pretty much cementing his spot there now. Especially with Schaefer going out, Misa not in the tournament, and I don't think Martoma go.
I don't know. It could depend. If we get the second pick and San Jose has the first, I could totally see San Jose taking Schaefer. Could you?
I think that'd be the
smart.
I think fit wise, like with Weston Levshon last year, I think fit wise Schaefer makes sense for them. But would you really pass up Higgins at 1? I don't know about that. Like, I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, but now he's going to be out for 3, that's probably going to hurt his stock. No.
I don't know. Yeah. Yes, but also like it's not like Sam Dickinson looked really good yesterday.
Yeah, he was brutal. He was
the goalie
put it into his net.
The Sharks
tossed the puck into his own net.
That was like suspect. That's like this guy wants to go golfing.
That's like he bet on.
Yeah.
He bet on Czechia.
It's like he had Czechia money line juice. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sharks definitely need a D-man. So yeah, Schaefer would be the smart pick for them. But I'm not sure if you pass up Higgins. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like when teams draft. I don't like talks to the Hawks in this past draft. I don't like when teams pick based on what they want a player to be and perceived fit. I like not overthinking and just picking the best player available and figure it out afterwards. Yeah. But anyway, that's my take. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, IIHF, just quick brief mention. I like mentioning this stuff. Henrik Lundqvist and Zdeno Chara are going to the IIHF Hall of Fame. So,
deserved.
Yeah. All right, and that was World Junior Talk from Chicago Hockey Radio. You're welcome, everybody. Headline game, though. Headline game. Just, this is funny. This is a headline of an article written by Shane Seeney. Arrogance cost Canada the World Junior Championship. How good is that, dude?
It makes me feel good inside.
And then Stephen Ellis, who was from the clip that we read to, has the headline article on Daily Faceoff today. Or no, it's not anymore, the headline. But the headline reads, Canada has no one to blame but themselves for the 2025 World Junior failure.
I like that one because I've seen a lot of people blaming, this and that, but really, they got to look in the mirror. Also, I got to address. I don't know if I've addressed this. I got this Wayne Gretzky Canada Cup jersey for Christmas, so I thought it'd be funny to wear that today. I don't know if I ever explained why I'm wearing this Canada jersey.
You should show the back of it. Show the back of it.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go. Flip over, bud.
Yeah. the headphones.
There you go. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we
With
go.
the Gretzky's basement right there.
Yeah.
Super
I
cool.
thought it was supposed to, we were just at Gretzky's basement too, so I thought it made sense.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I guess we could say this now since we're not doing it, but we thought there might be a possibility that we could be doing today's show at the basement. So yeah, it's okay. Didn't end up happening that way. Still, all those guys there were beauties. I should say again.
Oh yeah, it was nice to meet them, and that Gretzky's basement too. What a beauty of a place that was. Just seeing all his memorabilia there. I could just watch Gretzky highlights. They had that playing. I could just watch that all day. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. All right. What else? Stuff from the weekend. Also, 32. Let's do this. Elliot Freeman on 32 Thoughts today. We were talking about while we're wrapping up Winter Classic week, we could do the talk about the outdoor games for next year. So apparently Gary Bettman, when asked about it in Chicago for this Winter Classic, because sometimes they announce the next year's Winter Classic at the Winter Classic, right? So they asked Bettman about it, and he said said that they were going to wait on it during the. I just want to get the quote here. During the TNT broadcast of the Winter Classic on New Year's Eve, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman stated the league will be making an official announcement in the near future, and the plans for outdoor games this year will be, quote, a little unusual. The quote continues, "It's going to be a little bit more unique. Some people will think we've lost our minds. We're not ready to announce it, but we will soon, and it's going to be good." So
Batman said it's going to be good, then I'm worried.
well, so, Friedman had been saying that he thought Florida was
Careful.
going to get an outdoor game and that maybe we'd get a Pittsburgh-Washington game, which is
Crosby Ovi.
Crosby Ovi. I think that would be really cool. But today on 32 Thoughts, he said that it looks like each Florida team will be getting an outdoor game next year.
Southern Winter Classic.
And that
Well, they should just play each other.
but they're not going. So the Panthers, the rumor is right now that the Panthers are going to play the New York Rangers in where the Miami Marlins play, and then the Tampa Bay Lightning will play a TBD opponent where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play.
That'd be a stadium
Raymond
series then?
James, yeah.
The ice is going to melt. Jeez. I guess we're going back to the southern markets.
Why
there.
would you not just have them play each other though?
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Build that
Battle of Florida.
rivalry,
Battle
like,
of Florida.
even more so.
I think, you know what I think it is? I think it's like an owner issue where, Jeff Vinnick's not the owner of the Lightning anymore, I don't think. But I think he might still be like, he sold the Lightning were just sold recently. But I think he's still the controlling owner for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think Tampa Bay has been like building up to something like this for a really long time. And then Florida, within the last like 3 years, has immediately shoehorned themselves into like being a team just like them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think if Florida got the outdoor game, right, if it was in Miami, then Tampa Bay would be like, hey, we've actually been better for like 5 times longer than these guys have.
Yeah.
Like, and we haven't gotten the outdoor game yet either. Like, why not? So I don't know. I think it might be cool. But Tampa Bay did play an outdoor game. They played
That wasn't that long ago. What did they? No, it was the Stars that played the Predators that one time, right?
Who did? Can you look it up? Tampa Bay did play an outdoor game. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm totally wrong.
No, I don't recall that.
I could have
don't
sworn I
That's the
remember.
Stadium Series. The Stadium Series game is it's the Blue Jackets and Red Wings, right? Is that Ohio Stadium?
Yeah,
this
yeah.
year? Yeah, that's in March, I think.
The horseshoe.
Yeah, I might have to go to that. It's not too far from my campus.
Dude, the tickets are half the price of the Winter
Yeah,
Classic.
hopefully that'll be a better outdoor game than whatever that was. Yeah.
2022 Stadium Series between Nashville hosting Tampa Bay.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I knew
Yeah.
they played
Yeah,
a game.
You're right. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Nashville
Tassos isn't wrong. He's
Yeah, I'm never wrong,
Yeah,
guys.
no.
Come on.
glazing is crazy.
So yeah, I don't know. Doesn't tickle your guys' fancy at all?
Nah, that doesn't get
Well,
me up.
Put it in Soldier Field. Screw it.
Florida
kidding.
versus Tampa would tickle my fancy. Like that'd be
Yeah.
worth watching. Like if you played it on the fucking beach or something, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
The beach.
The beach, yeah. dude.
Yeah,
The beach,
Yeah, like
yeah,
build
yeah.
a little. You can put ice anywhere. I mean, yeah, sure, it's gonna be sloppy and wet and like. But yeah, imagine you
That's what
literally
you
had you. Okay, dude. Imagine you literally had Tampa versus Florida playing on like a fucking beach.
Have you seen the memes about it where it's like, ball hockey clips of guys just like decking each other and it's like, this is what the Florida Tampa Bay Winter Classic's gonna look like?
That's real as fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was all I had for you guys. I don't know. Anything setting up for the weekend? Anything?
Yeah, let's look at these shell games tonight besides our game, which is obviously anytime the Hawks are playing, that's the game of the night, right? Not Pens, Panthers. That could be Pens have been playing a little bit better lately. Told you we just talked about the Panthers. That could be a good one. Yeah. Does that tickle your fancy?
Yeah.
A lot of tickling being done today.
Yeah, I like being tickled
Sus.
by the Florida Panthers.
I said this on my show today. Tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay.
Wrong.
Cool. It'll be the first time this week. So when I think of like, this is maybe my East Coast bias and like the way I grew up, like watching Dr. American NBC Sports games and all that. When I think of like a noon start Saturday game, I think of 4 teams. I think of the Rangers, the Capitals, the Bruins, and the Flyers, and that's it. Like every single noon start on a Saturday, like always is those 4 teams. Some mix of those. Am I wrong? And the Hawks used to be in
they
that
used
mix
to,
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not so much anymore. I feel like, but
I remember those like those weekend games in National Stage with Dach. I miss Dach. I miss NBC.
So much.
I miss the theme. NBC was way better at covering the sport than ESPN, but I do enjoy TNT. They've done a good job.
do you think we could play the NBC hockey theme without getting
I
demonetized?
miss that, man.
Yeah, that used to get me so.
Those were the days, the Wednesday night
aged.
rivalries. Oh, those are great.
We used to always play the Red Wings in the matinees.
Those
I
are
feel
fun.
like.
Yeah, Kaner scored those 6 shootout goals.
Yeah,
Oh.
and Kane would just fucking.
He'd
torch
always
them.
own the Red Wings, and
Yeah.
now he's a Red Wing. That's woke nonsense there.
Yeah. All right.
What other games this weekend we got going on here?
Maple Leafs Bruins should be a good one.
Yeah.
Sharks Blue Jackets. No, I'm just kidding. They actually take on the Devils tomorrow.
And Rangers Capitals, that's always a pretty decent rivalry. Yeah.
Honestly, it's kind of like the matchup of the mids tomorrow. Although Lightning Kings is actually probably a low key pretty good game.
Game of the weekend is clearly Hawks Rangers on Sunday. Yeah, no, those two teams neither in a particularly great place right now.
I won't lie, kind of a weak lineup for a weekend with 22 games.
Nothing really pops out like, oh yeah, that's the one.
No.
Yeah, no.
Literally.
Yeah.
Canucks Predators tonight, like Oilers Ducks, like I don't know.
Yeah, no, not most like it's like they picked these matchups out of a hat for this weekend.
I feel like there's so many bad teams in the NHL this year. You know, like there's like a couple handfuls of like really uninspiring
I feel like
rosters.
the parity's a little better though this year. I don't know if you guys have noticed. It started to swap a little bit lately. Are the Golden Knights first in the NHL now? Am I reading this right?
They're dummying everybody.
They're just running through everyone. I got on them
Jets are
live.
first or
They
second?
played Philly last night, and I just threw a few. Philly scored first, and we're like up 1-0 in the first. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take fucking Vegas at plus money here, and threw a few bucks, and they won comfortably. So
Yeah. Red Wings have been playing a bit better. Kaner's scoring goals again. Maybe McClaw maybe helping out a little bit there. Yeah. Sabres are still playing like them. Did you see that game against the Avalanche yesterday?
my
I
gosh.
teed up a little bit in the Hawks hour, but I don't know how they found a way to lose that game, dude. That was nuts.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a stat for this actually. It was the Buffalo Sabres opponent has changed their goalie mid-game 9 times this season. They are 2-7 in those games.
that's
An unreal
insanity.
stat.
That's insanity.
The secret way to beat the Sabres.
Yeah,
Just
it's
swap your
just,
goalie mid-game.
it just get absolutely trounced in the first period, and then
Kings are
you'll
blowing
win.
leads over there.
Isn't that like I've never heard of
That's
a stat like
doesn't
that?
feel
Unbelievable.
real. That's like a video game
Yeah,
stat.
that almost doesn't feel
What?
real. It's like, how can you mess that up so many times?
That's ridiculous.
Damn.
It's ridiculous.
That is unreal.
Yeah, Bo and Byram scored in that game too, but you know, that was his return game to Denver. No,
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Stanley Cup champion Bo Byram.
Yeah, that's right.
The thing with the Sabres, honestly, is like, you know, Jason Zucker has a hat trick and you still lose the game, and he had an assist to a sweet apple to Bo Byram on that goal. Man, it's like they just need some vets like that. You know what I
They
mean?
have players. They have talent. It's like you look at the team. It's like they should be better than 14, 20, and 5. Like it's kind of baffling, but it does feel like they're lacking. They're missing something in the locker room. Or,
But I feel like that's what all the Buffalo fans are so critical of. Is like the offseason, you just bring in Jason Zucker, and it's like they need more. They need more.
They need more Jason Zuckers.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
They should have brought in 3 Jason Zuckers.
Yeah, you need less like young prospect type, project players. You need established guys to sack up and win a game.
I was noticing the Hawks finally have a little bit of a buffer here. They have a 3-point buffer, so even if we win tonight, we're still in last. Because every time the Hawks do win, it's like they come out last for like one day and then go back. It's like a cycle that continues. But Predators are still 31st, so it shows you the season they're having. Sharks are a couple wins ahead of us, but otherwise pretty much the same record there.
Yeah, but San Jose's got
three games in hand,
Yeah.
and they have more loser points. Like we have the same amount of wins. We still have more wins than the Predators. They have 11, so that's kind of funny. But
we
they
need San Jose to start winning some games.
Yeah, no, because they're going to be our competition again for that first pick. Which again, I think we have reached a point in the season where we could actually start like worrying about that now, right?
Yeah.
Like we are where we are right now. Like we're embracing the tank at this stage of the
Man,
season.
we made it so long without draft talk.
Yeah, now
All
it's
the
like,
World Juniors talk
yeah,
is kind of draft talk.
It's
yeah.
not.
We're in the 2025 portion of the season now.
It's not
20
October,
Yeah.
November anymore.
Yeah,
we're
like-
we're in January now. Yeah, and
Then can I stick in my 2
dog
cents?
days of the
yeah.
tank.
What are your 2 cents? Stick it in.
I want the Hawks to get the number 5 pick this year, so that way they're in contention for Gavin McKenna.
What about the number 2 pick?
can't you not pick? Can you look this up, Raven, before we go?
You can't get the first
what
overall
are
pick.
what are the rules as far as winning the draft lottery in the NHL? Because they made it.
Someone in chat was talking about this earlier because
can't-
they were saying the Islanders were going to win it, and I believe it was Trevor who was like,
No, they were like the Rangers. It was
Oh,
the
you
Rangers.
can't get
Yeah,
you can't get the first pick more than twice in a 5-year span. So the Hawks, if they didn't get the first this year, could still get it next year. There's more.
But if
to
they
it than
got
that,
it
though.
this year,
so they
then
can
they
get-
couldn't get it.
But
yeah.
But they could get it. They could get second this year.
Yeah.
And then get it next
Can
year.
they? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, well, one, first of all, according just to go to that comment in the chat, if the Rangers got James Higgins, they would ruin him. Like that.
Oh,
would-
they're terrible at developing players over there. Yeah, no.
They would absolutely ruin him.
If the Blackhawks got 5th this year and then were contending to get Gavin McKenna next year, I would
both take a little
I
while.
would commit crimes.
Take a long walk off a short pier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
They
I
wouldn't
won't-
let me anywhere near the stadium if that happened.
You wouldn't want Gavin
we-
McKenna on the team?
No, it's not
I
about
would
that.
love
It's,
to have a team.
if this team is in this spot next year,
Hell no, God.
heads are gonna roll.
We can't have another
Our heads
season
are
like
gonna
this.
roll.
Yeah, my
We can't-
head's gonna roll.
No, like we're not going to be playoffs next year, but we can't be dead last
Okay.
again.
Would you
where we're
rather?
at.
Would you rather Gavin McKenna go to the Sharks then?
No, obviously not. But you can't be concerned about Gavin. You have to feel like you have enough prospects after this draft to have a very good team in a few years. We've drafted so many guys. And by the way, something that I'm a little pissed about after watching this fucking World Juniors is why did we not pick fucking Cole Iserman at 16 or 17, whatever we had this year?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I'm
he's so
sorry.
good.
I'm sorry. Why did we not at least roll the dice on a guy like
Bob
that?
having a decent season. but
I
yeah,
don't care.
Yeah.
This guy's going to be a 30-goal scorer easily. You can't tell me Cole Iserman's not going to be able to score goals in the NHL.
Oh, Eisenman's going to score more than 30. He could be a 40, 50 goal scorer. That guy can shoot. Holy. That's kind of his whole game, though. But yeah.
I don't care.
Betsy feeding him, that could have been a great duo, especially if you're going to pass on Demidov. That would have made a lot of sense. I didn't understand.
It's like yes, I understand that like picking a guy like Cole Iserman is like in a way kind of rolling the dice because he might not pan out, but if he does, he's going to be. But then not picking him and going with Sasha Boisvert is also rolling the dice.
Yeah, KD's a guy too. Like he doesn't love baggage. Like Eiserman's a great player, don't get me wrong, but there are some things about him I could see why KD wouldn't pick him. I'm not defending it, but anyway, man. He is definitely a very confident player. I'll say that. You're not afraid to chirp guys and get into it.
I mean, I remember the start of last year. It's like we were talking about how it's Celebrini and Iserman. Like Iserman was supposed to be
dropped
number
off a
2,
cliff,
and then he
yeah.
dropped off a cliff because I don't know. People don't
What
like
does
his
that tell
overall
you, though?
game.
Like, what does that tell you?
It tells me that there's a bunch of
interviews
fucking
suck.
idiots that are drafting players. Like if Cole Iserman ends up being a 40-goal scorer in the league, it's like all these guys are idiots. Like I'm right, they're all wrong. You can't tell me otherwise. That like there were stuff we're worried about. This kid can score like nobody fucking else. Who cares if he's shit in his own defensive zone?
It kind of reminds me of DeBrincat. Like he fell to 39 to the Hawks. Funny enough, they made Stan Bowman look like a genius.
Yeah.
And like it was pretty clear. Like that guy was pretty about 100+ points in those Otter teams, and like fell the second round. He should have been like a top pick in that draft.
Every couple years,
There's always that
they're
player.
always wrong about guys, and it's like, and you can kind of spot it from a mile away.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, Cole
He's gonna
Iserman
be the
is
next
that.
guy. Yeah, and that would have made passing on Demidov make a lot more sense. They picked him. I know Boisvert is a complete player. Yada yada. I feel like we have guys like him though, like Oliver Moore. Like I see a lot of similarities. Nazar's. Like I feel like we have guys like that. Like why would you pass on a guy like Iserman if that's ceiling it? Like it doesn't make sense.
Only reason why Iserman doesn't pan out is because the fucking Islanders drafted him, and they might ruin him.
See, that's the thing. He's not like I look at Iserman. He's not a New York Islander.
Turns into Oliver Wahlstrom.
Like the Islanders are not a team that scores goals and promotes offense. So like I do think he might need to, like I don't know if it's going to work out in Islander land. He might need to change his. I don't know if he might need to change his scenery there. Yeah.
Before he even plays an NHL game.
Seriously,
Although I guess
like, he's not
kids do that now.
Yeah.
He strikes me as the type of
Cutter.
guy who'd be like a Cutter Gaucher, be like, nah, I'm not playing there. I'm going somewhere else.
I don't know Cole Iserman from a hole in the wall. All right.
Do we get that rule, Raven? Do we know what it is?
I don't know exactly, but you can't get the first overall pick in the first 5 years. That's all I could see, really.
You mean twice in 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
More than twice. The Hawks can get it again. Yeah.
But you can't get it 3 times
No,
in
you
5
can't
years.
get it. You can't get
More
it
than
3
twice.
times. The lot of rules, you need like a degree in something in order to understand them. They make no sense, but anyway.
Yeah, me sitting on the beach reading the CBA.
Yeah, exactly.
Reading the CBA like a book.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
I think so.
Yeah, go USA. Let's take home the gold this weekend, and hopefully the Hawks can at least. Hopefully they can win something sometime soon. But I have no expectations of this team, man. Yeah.
Oh, can I one last thing? So the jerseys for the college outdoor games today and tomorrow, they're all super cool. Except like the Badgers, look at the scroll through them. They're all super cool. Show Justin while you're scrolling. The Badgers one is super cool. The Michigan State one is super cool. I'm a fan of the Notre Dame one, but what the actual heck is the Michigan one?
What is that? Why is that M on the sleeve? There's nothing in the middle.
It's like a soccer jersey.
It looks like a practice jersey, dude.
having the crest on the side. It's
you
like
like the Notre Dame ones?
I like the Notre Dame
I don't know
ones.
if I
they're a
love the
little
Notre Dame
goofy,
ones.
but I think they're cooler than the
the
Michigan
other ones
ones.
are nice.
I really like the Nittany lines.
Honestly,
like
I'm a little surprised. I see Michigan State in there. I'm a little surprised. At the time, I thought left shot and Ice Dogs made sense this year, but I am starting to think, would it not benefit him having another year in NCAA? I don't know. I mean, he's having an okay season with Ice Dogs, and it takes time, right? But I don't know, maybe another season there, tank for the whole Baker on that Michigan State team that's so dominant would have benefited him. Anyway, that's just a thought to put out there.
Unknown Boy in chat said teams didn't want Iserman because of his selfishness. Well, he's a pure goal scorer, so I hope he's selfish, and that's not a good enough reason to not pick him at 17th overall. You could have taken... Oh my gosh, it's just like that guy could play with Bedard and put up fucking 50 goals.
He could just stand in the OV slot in the circle in the power plays, which is what he's been doing for the U.S., by the way. And Bedsy would find him, and those two would have an insane connection.
Like, do you guys understand, like, how often, like, especially outside the top 10, first round picks don't pan out all the time. It's not like you're losing, like, but you're rolling the dice and you have like a 50-50 chance of having an absolute fucking stud goal scorer. It's like, why wouldn't you take that chance?
I assumed the Hawks were going to pick him. I mean, we went to that commercial break. It was like a couple teams were ahead of them, and the Hawks. I think it was actually like they were up next. I'm like, holy shit! Like this guy's falling in our laps here. Like KD, you better pick him. Like, and he passed him. I was more pissed off about that. And I wanted Devin up. I knew the Hawks were going to pick Lapchuk, so I wasn't really upset about that. I knew it was going to happen. That one I was pissed off about. I'm like, okay, like I don't understand that at all. But anyway, hopefully, but I do like Sasha Bonver though. I do. I think he's going to be a good player, but I don't think he's going to. I don't know if he's going to be a great player. The guy's has that great potential.
Yeah,
you know.
He had a super high ceiling for 17th overall.
Yeah.
All right. Is that the game?
I think that's all I have for now. Yeah.
That's the show.
Hopefully, Colton Dach, the doctor, can fix this team. Yeah.
All right. We have a guest on Monday, so we'll be joined and we'll do a little fun talk with. I'm not gonna share the guest, but we have a guest on Monday, and we might have another one Wednesday or Friday too. So we're gonna have some fun these next couple of shows here. Justin's last week before he goes back to school. I'm very bummed about that.
I'm bummed too.
But you know what? It's
drop out.
Yeah, drop out your last semester for CHR.
Sorry, Mrs. Lynch. He's got to. No, I'm kidding.
No. I'll take a look at that. I was kidding.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure your parents will be jumping at that opportunity.
They would disown me.
Mom, the podcast is doing really well.
Yeah, come on, Mom.
Yeah, doing it on Zoom is not the same, man. It's like you figure out when to talk and stuff, and it's just not being in the room. It's just it's not the same at all.
We'll make it work. We'll make it work.
Yeah,
that's right.
One more semester.
One more semester, and then we're back. Then
we got
then
playoffs.
this is the hustle.
Yeah, playoffs will be fun.
Yeah, the playoffs will be super fun. Maybe the Hawks will make it. I'm just kidding.
W podcast.
I think they're already mathematically eliminated at this point.
W chat. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I'm going to do it one more time. Follow us on Instagram. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Do them both. Tell a friend about this podcast because we have a giveaway on Monday. Super exciting. Post game tonight after the game against the Habs. Post game on Sunday after the game against the Rangers. And then we will be back Monday live for a show. Have a good weekend.